please give a warm Chicago Force welcome to Laura Ricketts. Chicago has won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. Jacksonville will be receiving. Ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand for today's national anthem, Chicago Force quarterback Sammy Grisafi. Sammy, in her 6th season with the Force and well known for her musical talents, be sure to check out Atlantis, her new album now available on iTunes. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag to her north end zone, Sammy Grisafi.
We don't have a mic for her.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all around parts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets went bursting, yeah. He proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
She's so talented, I can't take it. When she comes up,
Welcome everybody, Memorial Stadium here in the north suburbs of Chicago, home of Evanston High School, and we are bringing you conference semifinal playoff football here in the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance. John Cohn, Pam Shafrath bringing you the game, and Pam, it's our hometown Chicago Force team, and today they're taking on, they took a long trip to get here, but the Jacksonville Dixie Blues for the right to get to the conference championship.
what a fantastic night for football, John. This is a great night to play, and we got an exciting game tonight. Jacksonville Dixie Blues, Chicago Force. This is really, really going to be a good test for the Chicago Force, and we've never seen the Jacksonville Dixie Blues, and I can't wait for it to start.
You got a good look at both teams huddling up, coaches giving last-minute instructions, team captains firing up their players, and round 3 of the playoffs. Both these teams got byes in round 1. Chicago Force with a 70-14 victory. We did that game, Pam, over the Indianapolis Crash, and that ball club right there, the Dixie Blues, with a big win over Atlanta, 49-41 last week. So it should be an excellent game, very exciting, and again, at stake here, a trip to the conference championship, 2 steps away from the big one, the national championship.
John, this is what you play for. The Forest's goal since day one's been to win the championship. We haven't gotten there since 08, and they're on their way 1 game at a time. And looks like last week, the Jacksonville team had a tough game against the Atlanta team. Close game. Chicago Force, a little bit of a not as a close game, but I think this is going to be a good test for the Chicago Force today with the Jacksonville Dixie Blues.
Yeah, if you haven't heard my partner before, Pam Shafras, she speaks with that passion and knowledge because she played in the ball club for many, many years, finally hung up the spikes a couple of years ago, but still's got that player's mentality and is in the Chicago Force Hall of Fame. Congrats on that, Pam.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored.
So you are vested in it, no question about it. That Jacksonville team, by the way, you were talking about, had given up 24 points, I believe, all season long. But last week, the Atlanta team, the Atlanta Phoenix, found a way to get some points on the board, gave up 41. So Jacksonville's defense, we'll see how they adjust today against that great Force offense.
I think that says a lot about the Atlanta team offense. They obviously have a very good offense to score that many points against Jacksonville. And I think they're going to go against a really good offense team today in the Chicago Force, John. So I think they're going to have, a big job ahead of them with the Chicago Force offense.
Here we go. As you can see, the Force will be kicking off. Again, it's the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. We'll see them on offense first. Good matchup. Special teams could be a key part of the game. And we'll see what happens here in the first kickoff.
Trish Charbonneau getting ready to kick off. She's a veteran of the Force, old teammate of mine. She's one of the leaders of the team. It's good to see her out there.
I think they iced her foot down last week after the 70 point between the extra points and the kickoffs. Here's the kick. We are off, folks. Semifinal conference championship action. Robinson on the return. 35 up to the 40-yard line, about exactly where the Indy Crash started with the ball last time. Looked like the tackle by number 26 for the Chicago Force. And that is Elizabeth Strozinski. Good tackle on the special team, so we'll get a look at the Jacksonville offense and, of course, that Chicago Force defense.
Yeah, and I believe that was also Brandy Serta, number 1, and we talked about making a hit in the beginning of the game. That was a nice hit on that kickoff. All
right, Jacksonville's offense at the helm, at the quarterback spot, Erin Maroon. She is the quarterback, 7 for 22 on the season. Only throw the ball 22 times. They run, and there you get a look at their option backfield. First play from scrimmage, straight up the middle. Testing the middle of that defensive line for the Force. That might have been the fullback you're talking about, Pam.
Yep.
Looked like it was Ella Gilbert.
Yeah, Ella Gilbert. She's got good size. And I believe, they're going to test the line of scrimmage, defensive line of scrimmage for the Force. We got a big D-line. And why not test it with your big fullback on that first play?
Chicago Force defense giving up just 7 points a game on in average. Gave up 14 last week. You see some of the young ladies up front. And Kim Marks, teammate of yours a couple of years ago, Pam, still playing. She anchors that defensive line, number 85.
She sure does, and we've got Darcy Leslie, one of our top defensive players, back in the game today after being hurt last week.
Leading tackler for the team. There's the fake. Erin Maroon on the rollout. Trying to contain. She's going to pick up some yards and it'll bring up about a 3rd and 5. Nice job by Maroon, the quarterback.
There it is. That was the fake other way, quarterback keeper. And there we are. I talked about contain beginning of the game, John. Darcy Leslie had contained on that play. Got around her a little bit. A nice gain on the second down for about 5 yards. They got to watch that outside containment today. Got to watch it.
All week long, the Force have been drilled on that option offense. They don't see it a lot in the women's pro football game. Adam Lewandowski, the defensive coach, John Konecki, the head coach, and the rest of the staff working on that defensive unit. We should mention Leslie is back, but they're losing today because of injury. Brenda Van Kuyk, who was the leading tackler last week.
Brenda Van Kuyk's a big loss for us today, John. Here we go. Sweep to the outside.
Picks up the first down. Dragged out of bounds finally.
Sweep to the outside, number 2. Nice gain.
Looked like Martha Dantuma. We saw her last week defensively. There's Martha right there. Finally made the tackle, but Jacksonville on the march picks up a big first down, and for them, that's a confidence builder, Pam.
It sure is, and that was just a typical sweep play to the outside. Martha Dantuma, she's got 5 interceptions on the year. She's one of our top defensive backs for the Force. with that tall stretch, she was able to grab her, but that's a big game. Good first down for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues.
There's Coach Lou right there, Adam Lewandowski, and there's Aaron Maroon, the young quarterback for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues, coming out of the option. Fake, drop back to pass, a little bit of a surprise. Not caught. Not caught. So one thing we're seeing right off the bat, Pam, is that they're mixing up their plays and trying to keep the Chicago Force off balance. They give it to the fullback, the upback, who rarely carries the ball on the first play, and then they throw a rare passing play. So I think they knew the Force was ready for the option, and maybe in the first couple of series, give them some different looks.
And I got to tell you, as a defense, when you prepare for the option, you don't see it right away, you're caught off balance. They run a sweep play, they run a fake with a quarterback keeper, you're not ready for that. Then they also run a pass play, you're not expecting that. A little short on that pass play, would have been a nice gain, but I think the defense is being kept on their toes right now for the Force.
Good strategy. Head coach Don Braddock for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. There's the pitch out play, got a good block, cuts it back. Nice tackle on the cutback. Beautifully done. Looked like it was Darcy Leslie making the tackle. Looked like it was going to be a nice pickup to the outside, but Leslie contains, and on the cutback, the two-handed wrap tackle.
That's exactly what a defense wants to do, is contain, cut back so your linebacker makes the play. Good tackle by Darcy Leslie. That's what the Force are prepared for. That's what you're going to see if the defense of the Force executes.
Saw number 99, April Folks, coming off the field. You saw Tammy Engelman, and you see some of the fans that are coming out on an absolutely perfect night for football, Pam. We had a heat wave here in the city of Chicago the last 3-4 days, but it has cooled off beautifully for this evening's game.
The heat broke just in time, John, for this game tonight, and it feels wonderful.
Second down, back to pass again.
Yeah!
From the backside. Aaron Maroon goes down. Darcy Leslie switching sides of the field, and she was injured last week, but I think she's back, the leading tackler for the Chicago Force.
That's a big play after that first set of downs for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. They get a first down. Force comes back with a sack. I believe that was a blitz for Darcy Leslie, and I got to tell you, I know Darcy, she loves to do that. Great tackle, great hit, sets the tone right there.
How about Don Braddock and the coaching staff for Jacksonville putting the ball up in the air, at least trying to.
Yeah.
Although that time Aaron Maroon never had a chance to get rid of the ball because of Leslie's blindside blitz.
That's a big play. You want a big play for your defense after a first down like that, John, and Darcy's back. It's good to see her. We're going to need her.
4th and 16, punting situation, no rush from the Force. Short kick, good bounce. We saw that a lot last week too. And it will be not good field position. The Chicago Force going to take over offensively from the 13-yard line. And Pam, for the fans who have not seen the Chicago Force play, give them a quick preview of a very exciting offense.
Our offense is so exciting. We have so many weapons, John, and we've seen it. We saw it last week. We had 4 receivers have numerous yards. We had 2 receivers with 2 touchdowns each. We had Sammy Grisafi's coming off a week. She was the top passer in the league last week in the playoffs, and she's coming off of a really high yardage passing game from last week.
I'll tell you what, this team, the coaches for the Chicago Force, they are psyched up for this game. I was down on the field, talk about it in a second. First play of the game, straight handoff up the middle, big game. Lot of room up the middle.
Yes.
First down and then some on the quick give up the middle for the Chicago Force. Number 34, Mary Chules. She had the big game last week, Pam.
She did have a big game last week. Mary Chules had a touchdown. She had 47. She has 47 carries for 227 yards this year. There we go.
Shovel pass that time to Chules as the Force goes to the hurry-up offense, brought down by number 19. That's Jamie Maroon, I'm going to assume the sister of the quarterback, Aaron.
Yeah, she's the defensive back for the
Here's
Dixie Blues.
Grisafi back to pass. Looking deep down the sideline.
Yes!
Great catch. Great catch. Beautiful pass by Grisafi. Trish Harper with the catch.
We better hurry up with this hurry-up offense. Wow. This looks fantastic. What a great touch pass throw to Trish Harper. And looks like Sammy's starting off where she left off last week.
Couple of runs and then the big pass down the field. There's the fake. Go the other way. Good yardage again.
Yes! Yes!
Finally dragged down. That's Elizabeth Strozinski, 5'7" wide receiver from Glendale, Wisconsin. He had a big game last week too.
Liz Strozinski's one of those athletes. She can do a little bit of everything. It's good to see see her last week. She had a good game, but I think she's going to be a big part today.
Kristofi back
Yes!
wide open. Absolutely wide open. She was too wide open. Blown coverage by the Dixie Blues.
Yes, it was.
That was her favorite target, right, Ali Zuby?
It sure was, and she's coming off a good game last week. And Albie Zuby had it in her hands. Maybe one of those plays too excited, John, but it did look like blown coverage. You could see Jacksonville Dixie Blues girl had her head down. They knew they blew it. They want to come back here and stop this run right now.
Sometimes the pass can be too easy. That one was. It was just too wide open. There's the give up the middle. Broke one tackle.
Wow.
Broke couple tackles.
Wow.
Great run up the middle. That's Mary Jules. And
What you're seeing right now, John, is a very good offense against a very good defense, but this defense is missing tackles right now. They just can't take down these Force players, and they're getting some good blocks on these runs and gaining lots of yards here.
Mary Jules, 5'3", out of Muhammad Seymour High School, Muhammad, Illinois. They're knocking on the door of the Force for the first score of the game. There's that offensive line blocking. Is she in? Waiting for the call.
Melissa Smith.
Looks like just short. Looks like just short. Melissa Smith
And they
with
give
the
it-
carry.
Melissa Smith, what a story. We talked about last week, John. Top rusher in the league. 25 touchdowns going into last week. She had 3 last week. Doesn't surprise me they give it to her with our goal line offense. Oh, wow.
Fumbled the snap there. That's going to set them back a little bit.
Dixie Blues ball.
Recovered by the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. You are correct, Pam. Didn't get that at first, but in fact, you see the Dixie Blues congratulating each other. A big turnover. The Force drives the ball all the way from the 13-yard line right down to the 1-yard line, and they fumble. Wow.
And we've seen it before, John. The Force starts out with field position. They've got to go the whole football field to score, and they were doing it. And I got to tell you, they haven't fumbled a lot this year. That's very rare for Chicago Force to fumble. It was a rookie, Mary Jules, and wow, that's a big momentum shift for the Dixie Blues.
Surprising is you got to look at Adam Lewandowski telling the ball club to watch out for the pass here.
Yep.
But surprising, Mary Jules getting that many carries because Melissa Smith has been the primary running back this year. Brandy Hatcher's been their number 2, but Jules came on big last week, and maybe they're trying to go with the hot hand.
I think they were. They're saving Melissa Smith for maybe, middle of the game here, end of the game for injuries.
Back to pass. How about that? From the goal line.
Got to get rid of it.
Aaron Maroon.
Oh,
Wow. So much for our scouting report, Pam. Let's tear that puppy up.
especially, yeah.
They threw the ball 22 times all season long, folks, at least according to our stats. They've thrown it 3 times here in the first 6 minutes of the ball game, and they throw it that time from deep in their own end zone.
Yeah, I'm surprised also with the Chicago Force rush how good it's been this year to pass on the goal line, but they're trying to keep the Force defense on their toes. Maybe they'll come out with their bread and butter now, the option play here to get some first downs.
Got to look at Sam Skatara, number 55, Tammy Engelman, 99. April Folks, number 99, part of that defense. 91 is Tammy Engelman, a two-way player in the line for the Chicago Force. Here comes second down. Option.
There it is.
Pitch out. Got some room. Ran out of real estate. That's Michelle Robinson.
Yep. Number 23, Michelle Robinson, their number 2 back. They gave it on the pitch on that play. And the option offense, John, we both know it's all about the quarterback reading the defense.
Now,
And
we
if
have not seen Kim Brown yet, have we?
I don't think we
Number
have.
2.
No, we haven't.
And the reason I mention that is she is their workhorse, 67 carries on the season, as you mentioned, Pam. An unbelievable 13-yard per carry average for Kim Brown, number 2.
Kim Brown, a very fast running back, their primary running back. Maybe they're saving her for the game like Force is saving Melissa Smith here.
You see Brown back there, number 2, so she's not injured. She's the tailback in the I formation. Aaron Maroon on third down. I think that's Kim Brown that time. Brought down. Nice job of the defense inside. Number 85 looked like Kim Marks with the tackle, and the Force will force a punt.
Kim Marks is coming off a really good week last week, John. She had, I believe, 6 tackles, 5 for loss, and 2 sacks last week. She's got to have a big game tonight against the Dixie Blues. She's a defensive end. She's got a lot of containment responsibility. And I do know, as the Force defense, they haven't given up a lot of first downs this year, John. And they don't want to give up a lot of first downs to Dixie Blues. especially this week.
Longtime veteran of the team, too, Kim Marks. We talked about the force, a nice combination of young players and veterans. It is 4th down and 4. Punting situation coming up. Second punt of the game, not a good one, not the good roll this time. So the force going to get very good field position on the 34-yard line. And they'll get their second series of the game here. We welcome up to the booth, Pam. She had the honor, all the pressure of the big coin flip before the start of the game. Laura Ricketts joining us up at the booth. Laura, how are you?
I'm great. So much fun to be here tonight. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you at the ball game. You're watching WFA women's football at its best here. Your impressions early of the Chicago Force?
Well, we had a couple of unfortunate plays down here.
There's a pass to Zuby. She breaks one tackle. Laura Ricketts has brought us good luck up here in the booth. Touchdown. Touchdown right off the bat. Albie Zuby wide open, the favorite target of Sammy Grisafi. 6 points, and the Chicago Force strike first here in the ballgame. Laura, not bad. One play, one touchdown.
That was beautiful.
You may have to stick around for a while.
I'm happy to do so.
Wow.
This is a lot of fun.
Highly impressive. Now, let me ask you, wait for the extra point. What kind of pressure was there as you went out for the coin flipper? You look very cool from up here.
Well, thank you very much. How we do there? I didn't give it much thought, but then someone asked me this afternoon if I'd been practicing.
Did you actually get to do the flip, though?
I did do the flip, and it did rotate, so I'm told I did okay. But I got a little nervous because I hadn't practiced.
Don't lie. You were practicing at home. I know that. Yeah, but isn't it great, the women here? And I know, Laura, you're a family, of course, now very involved as owners of the Chicago Cubs, and that's a big involvement. But isn't it wonderful that these great female athletes here have this outlet in the sport of football that they're able to compete at this high level?
It really is. I grew up playing football in our yard with my brothers and a couple friends from the neighborhood, but never would I have dreamed that, when I was an adult, I would see this. It's amazing. And of course, the Force is doing such a great job representing the city. They have a great record this year. We can be really proud of them.
By the way, our Chicago Cubs lost today 3-1, but they've been on a solid win streak of late. I think 8 wins in their last 12 games. So
we're doing okay. We'll and it's a long season. There's still a lot of games to be played yet. So I think Rizzo has brought some great life to the team. He's certainly exciting to watch. And has just a great guy too. Great character, fun to watch. So there's a lot of great baseball ahead for this season.
Yep, I think he got 2 more hits today. It's amazing when you come up with the pressure of an Anthony Rizzo and all that pressure, and you're able to perform. I think through the first 11 games, got a hit every game, got 4 home runs already. So the Cubs looking much better, but right now we got to concentrate on this ball game right here. And again, the winner will advance to the National Conference Championship game. We're 2 steps away from the big one. The winner of this game will play the winner of the Boston Militia and the DC Divas. Laura, you got any scouting report on the Boston Militia?
Sorry, I don't.
All right, now have you seen this Pam play football?
I don't know. I don't know that I have seen you play
Well,
football.
I retired in 08, and just like you, Laura,
Yeah.
now that you brought up, growing up with brothers in the backyard, I grew up with 3 brothers in the backyard.
Yep,
So
I have 3 brothers as well.
So I know exactly how it is playing sports in the backyard with my brothers, and I know I had the opportunity, chance of a lifetime to play football, and it's just been amazing. And now I get to actually do the games now that I retired up in the booth. But how do you feel about the 40-year Title IX this year, the 40-year anniversary?
Well, actually, I started playing softball in, I think, 1973.
Okay.
That'd be right. T-ball, and it was the first year it was co-ed. And I'm not sure if it had anything to do with Title IX, but it's, they both occurred around the same time.
I believe it was 71, 73,
yep,
yes.
around then. And so I played in the very first year that they allowed girls to join the league, and then I played softball, up into high school, and I was in some kind of sport year-round, whether it was volleyball or basketball or track or softball or whatever. Just really great opportunities to participate in team sports, which are such a wonderful place for girls and women to build self-esteem and learn to work as a team. And
How true is that?
yeah, it's amazing.
How true is that? I know I'm the person I am today because of sports. So, and I played actually in 7th and 8th grade with the boys. Pop Warner tackle football. I was the only girl, so I used to put my hair up in my helmet. So, just having the opportunity when I was 31 to play tackle football at this level
Yeah.
is just amazing. So it's just really neat to see, and having you here today means a lot, Laura. So thanks for coming.
You know what? It's such a pleasure to be here. We're having fun, and I'm just thrilled to be invited to join you all.
Did you know about the Chicago Force?
Yeah, I remember when they were founded several years ago, and I didn't know people well. I knew a couple people that were playing, but didn't know them that well. But it's great that the Force is still here with us and going strong and doing so well this season.
And what's great is, even though we're a women's football team and, Chicago's such a huge sports town, I just think it's great that, the other football team is Chicago Force besides the Chicago Bears, and we're good. We go to the playoffs every year. We got to get people to know about us because we're a huge sports town and people just fall in love with us. Here we go. Fumble. Nice. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers right there. You saw it, Pam, and a 3rd down and 6. One of the dangers of the option offense. The pitch out fumbled, and the Chicago Force recovering. Big turnover deep in the zone. Laura, you're bringing the ball club. Good luck.
You sure are. You got to stay up here with us.
Well, I was a little bit worried because you all are undefeated, and I thought, well, I haven't been to a game all season, so I'm a little bit worried that I'll get blamed if something bad happens. But we're off to a good start. I have a good feeling.
Yeah, that's great. We appreciate it with your busy schedule. Able to come on and come out for the coin flip, stick around, cheer on the ball club, and catch a little women's tackle football. We much appreciate your being here.
What a catch!
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Trish
Harper! 81, veteran of the team. Woo! High fives all around.
He just tossed it up there, and it was a jump ball, and Trish Harper snags it out of the air for another touchdown for the Chicago Force.
That was nice. That was nice.
51 left. 13-14 to nothing. The score. What a catch! But a young lady right there, Trish Harper.
Trish Harper, she makes a lot of those catches back in 08 during our championship run. In 08, she made a lot of those acrobatic catches. She's tall, she's athletic, fantastic women's football player.
Now we know
it's good
what's
to see
coming
her
right now, right? You got to look at John Konecki and the coaching staff of the Chicago Force. You can't tell it from their faces there, but they got to be feeling pretty good about the start. Watch for Melissa Smith. Oh, okay. And Pam, we haven't talked about that offensive line. Let's wait for the signal here. Do we get in? Okay, got the 2-pointer. I don't think any of the refs gave us the good signal, but Pam, one thing we have not talked about, the young ladies up front for the Chicago Force, the real key to the team.
Offensive lines in the league, leaders on the team. I believe the Force offense this year has a lot to do with that line of scrimmage. In the game of football, everything starts at that line of scrimmage, and the Chicago Force line of scrimmage is good, one of the best in the league.
Dawn Peterson, Jamie Mensick can help me out. We got 3 first team, and Tammy Engelman, right?
No, Roz Bennett, Dawn Peterson, Keisha Brooks, all veterans, and really good football players, and why we're one of the best offenses in the league. They're the ones that block for Melissa Smith, who's the top runner in the league.
And Mensick and Peterson were first-team All-Stars in the WFA, and this is the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance. Now, believe it or not, Laura, 63 teams across the country. Pretty impressive how the league has grown.
Very impressive.
And each year it gets bigger and bigger. More teams are joining, more cities are joining.
63 teams. We're down to the final 8. So this is, in effect, what you would call like a quarterfinal matchup, but it's the semifinals of the conference championship. Good start for the Force. They're up 16-0, but we know the Jacksonville and Dixie Blues, very dangerous offensive. We see what they can counter with here.
Well, they're definitely going to want to counter and give a score back in this game early because they don't want to get out of it early, John. So, Laura, back to you a little bit. You said you played sport. You were always playing a sport. What was your favorite sport if you had to choose?
It would be softball.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a softball all-star, played for years and years, and really enjoyed the game.
What position did you play?
I was largely second base.
Okay.
Second base most of the time. But I played a number of different positions. But
The run
was my
back by
standard. Here we
Michelle
go.
Robinson and runs into a wall of Chicago Force players.
Nice.
Like to see a lot of black out there, John, making those tackles. Like to see a lot of black.
Looks like Candace Griffin, number 24 amongst others. She had a huge game last week, Pam, with 10 tackles.
10 tackles last week. And Candace Griffin's one of those players that can hit. It's fun to watch her play. Her defensive, like the way she plays the game is really awesome because when she tackles, she hits really hard. And it's fun to watch her play out there, and she's got a lot of passion for the game.
Noticed on the back of Kim Brown's shirt, we're still looking to see a lot more of number 2 for Jacksonville, who averages 13 per carry, but Now, my eyes aren't great, Pam, but I think on the back of her shirt she's got Rocky.
Really?
Well, I don't know if that's maybe her nickname.
Did you say averages 13 per carry?
Yes.
That's impressive.
She's one of the top running backs in the league. She's really fast.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Here in maroon, no chance that
Nice.
time out of the option. Quick surge by the defense, and it's Kim Marks, number 85, making the big tackle. She and Darcy Leslie leading the defense thus far.
Kim Marks, veteran of the team, big leader on the team. She's coming off a great week last week. She is leading she actually is one of the best defensive players. That she came off 6 tackles last week, 5 for a loss, 2 sacks. So she's big. She's going to be big in this game, John.
Force up 16-0, 5:10 up in the clock. Also up in the booth here. I don't think he's going to come on the mic, but we got the very prestigious public relations director, the hardest working guy in the business.
He is.
I call him Dr. George. He's not really a doctor, but he gets that kind of respect. George Howe up in the booth with us.
Yeah,
Does a great job with the
been-
media relations.
He's been with the Force a long time. John does a lot for this team.
Pass up the
Nice.
middle,
Yes!
intercepted. Intercepted by the Chicago Force, brought down
Darcy Leslie.
Darcy Leslie. Now, I tell you what, Pam, either there's 2 or 3 number 67s out there on defense, or Darcy Leslie is playing a heck of a game.
Really impressive.
We need a big game from her tonight, John, and she's coming off an injury and coming in tonight. This is a big interception for them.
You see us up here in the booth, Laura in the middle, Pam Shaffrett, John Cohn bringing you the game. Darcy Leslie got a sack from the right side. She made a tackle from the other side, and then there she is
Interception.
playing like a free safety in the defensive backfield, number 67, all over the field early for the Force.
Darcy Leslie, great athlete, great linebacker for this team.
Grasafi, short pass, not
Little
there.
high.
We have not talked about Pam. We mentioned her name, but we talk about all the weapons for the Chicago Force. But the leader, the charismatic leader, is the young gun, Sammy Grasafi, maybe the top quarterback in all the WFA.
Absolutely. She's one of those leaders, John, very emotional leader. She leads this team with her emotion, and when you want a really, really good quarterback, Sammy Grasafi's one of those quarterbacks that leads the team, and a good veteran, and she's definitely one of the top passers in the league. She reminds me a lot of Brett Favre out there.
Laura, I would tell you this, over the long 162-game season, that the Cubs are in a little bit of a doldrum, and maybe have heard from the coaches a little bit too much. If they need a pep talk,
Yes.
you could bring number 15, Sammy Grasafi, into the locker. I
you just gave
guarantee
me an
you.
idea. I think,
She'll give them a
I think
little
we're gonna have the
little
whole
pep
team
talk.
out to the game.
Not only
we're gonna
that-
have to have the whole team out to the game when the season's
And talented,
over.
right, Pam? A singer.
Very talented. She's a singer-songwriter trying to make it
She
in. Yeah.
she sang our national anthem here
Yep.
tonight. She
Did a
did
great job.
fine job. Did an amazing job, actually.
Next week, you might have to sing the national. Did they tell you that?
Oh my goodness! No, you don't want
That's on the
that. You don't
program
want
next
that.
week. They didn't tell you that, huh? Pass into the end zone. Looking for Ashley Bergeron, who had a big game last week with 4 or 5 catches down the field. Good look at Ashley right there. And
Ashley
Michelle
Bergeron.
Robinson.
Ashley Bergeron went to U of I Champaign, played basketball at U of I. So you see a lot of Force athletes that played sports in college,
Played other sports
other
in
than
college,
football.
yep.
Yes, and she's she was inducted in their Hall of Fame and was All-American at U of I.
Oh, really?
So we've got
Oh,
we've
great.
got a lot of great name athletes
Well,
here.
you can just tell by the play on the field. There are a lot of really talented athletes.
Absolutely.
Second down for the Force. Handoff up the middle. Chules
Nice.
working her way into the end
Yes.
zone, bouncing off a couple of runners, a couple of defenders, and Pam after the fumble. Nice to see Mary get a good run right there.
I was just going to say that. We're thinking the same thing, John. We're right on the same page. It's
a scary thought.
Fumbles last time when she's near the end zone. I like that the coaches give it right back to her. That's a good sign, and she takes it down to the 2.
Mary Chules, 13 carries last week, 81 yards, had a couple of touchdowns. She was their feature back last week. There's
Yes.
the give up the middle.
Yes.
Touchdown.
Yes.
Straight up the middle.
Impressive.
Is that
Char-
Melissa?
Yes, it is.
Melissa Smith, straight up the middle. With
Melissa's-
her 28th touchdown of the season. You're looking, folks, right there at the leading touchdown scorer in the WFA.
You know, Laura, right now you're seeing in the red zone, when we get into the red zone, which is the 20-yard line,
Yep.
we put in our big girl offense. And if you look, our big girl offense has a lot of big players, and no team has been able to stop it this year, as you can see right now.
Well, I believe it from what I'm seeing on the field now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's really impressive.
Yeah, no team in the WFA has been able to stop our red zone offense, and when we get close to the goal line, that's what we put in, and it's just really fun to watch. They pretty much walk in, as you can see.
It is fun to watch.
Yeah, here we are against a very talented Jacksonville Dixie Blues team, the Chicago Force, in the first quarter. Still 4 minutes left and they are up 24-0. An impressive start
Very
for the Force,
impressive.
as they did last week against Indy.
It's exciting.
You can see Don Braddock coaching to his, talking to his Jacksonville team. Well, Laura, we appreciate your coming up. Thank you
Oh,
so
it's a
much.
pleasure. Thank you so much for
Absolutely,
having me.
and we're both big Cubs fans.
You
Go
gotta come out
Chicago
again.
Cubs, too.
I
You
will
gotta
come
come
out
out again.
Absolutely.
It's great
I
to
will
have
come
your
out
support.
again. Oh, absolutely. This is fun.
And if we
It's
can't find the
amazing.
national anthem singer in a couple of weeks, you
No,
don't
I don't think you
answer
wanna
your
call
cell
on
phone.
me. I don't think you want to
And I heard you were going to bring the whole team out here. Let's not
I
forget that.
think we need to bring the whole team.
I didn't miss
After they win
that.
it all, after they win the championship, I think we have to have them all out at the ballpark.
I agree.
My treat.
I
and
like that
we'll,
idea.
We'll bring them down on the field and recognize
Can I
them.
put something else out there?
Sure.
I know a woman who has a lot of energy that would love to sing the national anthem
Okay.
for the
give me her
Cubs,
name.
who sang for us today, Sammy Grisafi.
Oh, beautiful.
It's
Let's
just
do
an
it.
idea.
Let's make it
It's
happen.
just an
let's
idea.
Let's have them all out. Here we go. Let's have them all out, and after they win the championship,
Yes, let's do
we'll have her sing the national anthem. We'll have them all come out on the field. I think that's a great idea.
And I think we have a good chance of getting there. So,
I hope so.
So that would be a great idea and really fun.
All right, 3:49 left. Jacksonville Dixie Blues, they've taken a couple of hits. And now we got to see how they can respond. I am sure that's not the way Don Braddock, the outstanding head coach, and the rest of the coaching staff for Jacksonville was hoping the game would start. But
John, Laura Ricketts is leaving the booth. She gave us a lot of luck, so we hope to see her again soon.
yeah, and if we start faltering, we may call you back up in the booth. You gave us 24 points in about 5 minutes. Well done. Thank you, Laura. All right, here we go.
Awesome.
First down, 24-0 lead. Jacksonville trying to respond. Straight up the middle. Pretty good pickup right there.
I got to tell you, John, it's early in the game. 24-0 Force. Jacksonville Blues right now are saying we got to score. They don't want to get too far away.
Yep.
A lot of the teams playing against the Force this year saw exactly what they're seeing. A lot of quick scores. They're out of the game quick. Jacksonville's got to score here to get back in this game.
No question. Big possession for them. They won 49-41 last week over Atlanta. Got some momentum coming in. And this is a team we haven't mentioned, Pam, but there's the ball club undefeated. During the season, they have not been beaten yet. They find themselves down 24-0 first quarter.
Yeah, this is a team that's been very successful, John, and I know they've never seen the Force. These teams have never played against each other, but this is a very successful Jacksonville Dixie Blue teams, and with the way the game's going now, it just shows how talented the Force is.
Good tackle again. Kim Marks, you get a good look at her right there. Number 73 also in your screen. Arteria Ziegler, as the Force will rotate players in.
Yeah, the
Ziegler, a good part of that front line. Tustead.
very good part, and I think we always talk about the depth of the Chicago Force, and they're able to rotate players in to keep them fresh.
Aaron Maroon, the quarterback, on the rollout. Option pass or run. Wants to run. Nowhere to go.
Nice!
Beautiful solo tackle. Kim Marks and Darcy Leslie, ladies and gentlemen, 85 and 67. Leslie and Marks are putting on a show. And when they show a tape to ladies or guys on how to make a tackle, Pam, that was it right there. Perfect.
Well, we said earlier the Jacksonville Dixie Blues were going to test the Force containment, and right there was textbook play, perfect containment on the quarterback keeper, trying to get to the outside. Kim Marks turned her in. Darcy Leslie made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Spin Nightclub always sponsors our MVP award, and right now Kim Marks and Darcy Leslie, couple of contenders on the defensive side of the football. Punt for Jacksonville, and again, not a great one, but a pretty good roll. Force will get the ball on about the 27-yard line.
You like to see a lot of punts as a defense, John, and that's exactly what the Force is doing. You want to see a lot of, they're called 3 and outs, 3 plays, don't get the first down and out. That's your goal as a defense. They've been doing a good job.
Once again, a win today will put the Force into the conference championship. That'll be played Saturday, July 21st, and they'll be playing the winner of the Boston Militia DC Divas game. Whoever is fortunate enough to advance out of this game, there'll be a week break, and then the championship. You see John Konecki.
We don't want to look too far ahead, John, but next week would be the rematch of the game last year that the Force lost to Boston Militia, so we're looking forward to that.
Big
Whoa!
hole up the middle as they gave the ball to number 73. Is that right? Arteria Ziegler gets the carry and a little bit of a surprise. How about that? Ziegler, I'm looking at the stats here. I don't think she had a carry the entire year.
I don't think she has 2. You know what it reminds me of, John?
I'll take that back. 3 carries on the season. 2 yards, and that time she picked up about 25. Minute 28 left in the quarter. Great start for the Chicago Force. Rough one for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. Good look at some of the fans out here. Again, perfect weather on a Saturday evening here at Evanston High School. The Wildcats nice enough to let us use the field, and you can see the injured player
And
being helped off.
I'm glad she's okay. And, you know, with a Force offense, as powerful as the Force offense is, the Dixie Blues does not want any turnovers. And, you know, that's what happened in the first quarter here, a turnover. And, you know, they want to keep their turnovers very limited because that Force offense will come right back at you and score. So they got to keep their turnovers very limited tonight.
Yeah, we talk same strategy as the Indianapolis Crash tried to do, and that is ball control
Yes.
and, you know, keep the Force offense off the field. Not working so far, but that's got to be one of their strategies, talking about the Dixie Blues.
And also they want to create turnovers themselves.
Shovel pass from Grisafi from the shotgun. Nice tackle from behind. Well done there. Looked like number 62 for Jacksonville making the tackle, but a good pickup. April Dewald. Nice hustle by April. 5'4" out of Lock Haven University. Good tackle.
She's got 19 tackles on the year. She's one of their good defensive players.
Grisafi back to pass. A little bit overthrown.
It's like Sammy's just a little too excited on that play.
You know you're a good quarterback. Even her incompletes look good.
They sure do. They
She
sure do.
stands so tall in the pocket. The spiral is so tight, really impressive. And she throws, as you know, Pam, to a bevy of wide receivers.
She sure does. She's got the pickings out there. She's got some great wide receivers who can all run and catch very well. And she's got a good offense that Konecki's put in for her to make those throws.
We've seen this play before. Fake one way, throw the other way. Good pickup. Couple of broken
Yes!
tackles. Shot to get it in.
Yes!
10, 5, touchdown. Chicago Force, Ashley Berggren. So we've seen Zuby catch a touchdown pass. We've seen Trish Harper, and now it's Ashley Berggren, number 80, racing down the right sideline. But there's some yellow laundry on the field. This
There
one
sure
might
is.
come back.
You know, we talk about Sammy's wide receivers, John, and they're all very good. They have very good hands. But a very good wide receiver, what do they do after the catch? And I think that was a perfect example of what you could do after the catch. Ashley Berggren, very athletic, shakes 2 tackles and is able to make the catch and score. That's tough to defend for any defense.
Gonna have to do it again because it's coming back, Pam. Holding penalty.
And the play before that, running play, John, all started with a block by Jamie Menzik. Talked about our O-line a few minutes ago. For a big gain, Jamie Menzik was the key block on that play.
Jamie Menzik, another longtime Chicago Force mainstay and one of the top linemen in all of the WFA.
Yes, she is.
Incompletion right there. That'll set up a 2nd and long.
She's one of those linemen, John, that is really quick on her feet for a big person, and those are really rare to find. You look in the NFL, some of the best linemen are the big guys that can move on their feet, and that's typical Jamie Menzik. That's why she's so good on that offensive line.
All right, here we go. 3rd down. Correction. 3rd down for the Force. Give to Mary Chules. Bouncing away. Picks up some yards. Still a distance away from the 1st down, but a nice job by Chules. Bouncing off a couple of defenders. Finally brought down, looks like, by number 80, Santina Bryant, one of the 2-way players for Jacksonville.
Yeah, Santina Bryant, I believe, plays tight end, too, on the offense for the Dixie Blues, but it looks like these running plays that the Force are giving the Blues, they're getting some amazing blocks and missed tackles.
Give to Melissa Smith out
Yes.
of that power formation. 1st down. It's going to bring the first quarter to an end, but a quick pitch, Melissa Smith, right up the middle behind that great offensive line. 1st down for the Chicago Force. We have come to the end of the first quarter, and the score, the Chicago Force 24, the Dixie Blues 0. We'll take a quick break, back with 2nd quarter action in just a minute.
WJOB Hammond.
Hey everybody, I'm Jim Deedlow. I'm the morning host here at WJOB. And I'm also one of the guys that's coming up with this great idea that WJOB goes into the next generation and we get a nice video situation going on. And you're watching that right now. Check us out at WJOB1230.com and you'll learn all about our video as we move into the next generation. We're happy to be with you guys, and we're happy to be keeping pace with technological innovation here in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Diedlow. Thanks a lot.
Athletico. Isn't it about time you came off injured reserve? Schedule a complimentary injury screening at any of our convenient locations and receive personal attention by a licensed medical professional. Complimentary injury screenings are free, easy to schedule, and most importantly, provide you with peace of mind. Call 1-877-ATHLETICO or visit us online at athletico.com to find a location near you. Athletico, the official provider of physical therapy and athletic training to the Chicago Force. MOR is proud to be the team physician to the Chicago Bulls, Blackhawks, and your Chicago Force. That's Midwest Orthopedics at Rush, www.rushortho.com. Spin Nightclub is a sponsor of our Game Day MVP Award. At the end of each home game, we select an offensive and defensive
The Chicago Force, entering its 10th anniversary season, is a proud member of the Women's Football Alliance. The WFA plays under the same full-contact football rules as the NFL. Comprised of 60 teams from across the United States and Mexico, the WFA is the largest women's American football league in the country. From Florida to Oregon and from New England to California, the WFA consists of the best teams in the nation.
We are back. Start of second quarter action. You saw the first play of the second quarter. Pass thrown incomplete. Bring up a 2nd and 10. John Cohn, Pam Shaffrath bringing you playoff football here. The WFA, the Women's Football Alliance, semifinals of the conference championship in the National Conference. We'll talk about a little bit later some of the teams playing in the American Conference. April 4th will be the national championship game. That'll be held in Heinz Field, home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Handoff up the middle to Chules. Brought down. Looked like number 99, Alicia Houghton. 5'8" defensive lineman out of Jacksonville University, Woodbridge, Virginia. Her hometown, 2nd and 10, or 3rd down rather. 3rd down, call it about 9.5. Dixie Blues trying to get a stop. Good look at the fans right there. There's Mary Chules, number 34. She's been busy here early in the ballgame. 3rd down play, Grasafi. The rush is on. Wide open in the end zone, but she dropped it. 2nd drop pass. Perfect pass by Grasafi. Wow. Sometimes, Pam, it's like you're too open.
Sometimes the easiest, I've been there, believe me. The easiest catches are sometimes the hardest. Takes a lot of concentration when you're wide open and a perfect pass. It just, the Force might have their blood pumping right now, but that's 2 drop passes.
They're going to go for it on 4th down. Trish Harper makes the unbelievable catch in the first quarter and then misses the easy catch, as you were talking about, Pam. Grasafi back, 4th down situation. Up the middle she goes, incomplete, and that's a big stop. Big stop for the Dixie Blues. It was intended for number 84 of the Force, Dana Vermillion.
That is a big stop for the Dixie Blues, just like you said, John. And if the Dixie Blues want to stay in this ball game, they've got to stop the momentum of the Force offense, and they did it there. So let's see what they can do here in the second quarter, see if they can drive down the field and get a score themselves.
I want to mention Spin Nightclub, one of our sponsors here, and they sponsor the MVP award at the end of each home game. We'll select an offensive and defensive player of the game. Spin Nightclub, offering comfortable and friendly environment for everyone, located at the corner of Belmont and Halstead. I'm actually thinking of going down tomorrow to Belmont and Lincoln Avenue. They got a thing called Rock the Block.
Oh, it sounds fun.
A little music celebration down there. I might make it. Maybe I'll wear my Chicago Force.
Isn't Chicago great? Got a lot of stuff like that, neighborhood festivals and stuff like that, which are great. Chicago's a great city.
Any chance you'll join me for Rock the Block?
I could. That would be fun. I would like that.
I'll take that as a no.
No, it's no.
That's
I'm
a nice
excited.
way of saying. Nice
the
way of saying no chance in heck, Jared. But thanks for asking.
I grew up on a city block, and I love rock and roll. So Rock the Block sounds good.
There you go. Wedding Band is playing on Sunday night.
I've heard of them. They're really good.
Very good.
Very good. I think they have a lot of followers.
Wedding Band.
So,
all right, 2nd and 8 for Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Dixie Blues. Obviously, the Chicago Force defense is having a really good game right now. Don't you think the Dixieville Blues might have to make some adjustments earlier than they thought?
They do, and they tried some trick stuff early. They tried to get away from the normal option game, and There you see Aaron Maroon on the handoff. Gets good pickup. That'll leave her about 3 yards short to first down. Well executed. Again, their bread and butter, Pam, is the option offense. So maybe, I don't know, the other side of it is maybe they got to go back. They got too fancy. Go back to what they do best.
Yeah, sometimes when you get too fancy, you lose your focus and the way you execute all year, and sometimes going back to the bread and butter, get you a little more grounded and back in the ball game, and that's what they did there. But they also did very well earlier on that sweep play. They might want to go back to that too.
See Kim Marks coming off the field, getting a rare rest on defense. As soon as I say that, there she comes right back in the ball game.
Yeah, someone like Kim Marks doesn't want to be out of the ball game.
3rd down and 3. Big play right here for Jacksonville as they try to keep possession of the football. Aaron Maroon behind center. Option offense give, trying to outrace, and not going to make it.
Play.
Not going to make it. Dragged down, looks like by number 80. Big defensive play, Ashley Bergeron. Two-way player.
Ashley Bergeron coming off a great game last week, having a great game tonight. I'm telling you, she's the kind of athlete. She first year was last year as a rookie, John, made a big impact on this ball club. She has got the athletic ability to make plays on both ends, as you can see there. That play right there is a very tough play to make. Getting in the backfield, open field tackle, fast runner. Yeah. And the key to that play was she held onto her jersey. You're always taught whatever you can grab onto, you drag her down. That's exactly what she did.
And Ashley is a classic example of the type of players in the women's football line. Did not play football as a youngster, was a tremendous, one of the finest basketball, softball players state of Illinois has ever seen, but she comes in last year as an athlete, not necessarily a football player, learning the game, and you could see as she is becoming a football player, but typical of so many of the young ladies.
It's all when you have all the tools to become a good football player, you have good coaching, that's what happens.
There's the punt, so Jacksonville has to give the ball away again. Going to be picked up. He thought about returning it, Albie Zuby, and then I think what she did is she heard Coach Konecki's voice in her head.
I think she did too.
Get away from it.
Yeah, stay away, stay away.
Yeah, well, you got a 24-0 lead. You don't want to do anything to give the other team some momentum. But I don't know Albie Zuby that well, but I'm going to guess playing things conservative is not in her normal nature.
No, it's not. She usually likes to go for that ball and try and field it, but I think she made a good decision there. But you talk about athletes, John, and every year we look for athletes like Ashley Bergeron because of the coaching staff that we have with Coach Konecki and Coach Lewandowski and their experience, and Coach Bill. They're going to teach these players how to play the game.
Handoff up the middle, drags, pulls, fights, and I think she picks up the first down.
Another nice tackle by number 62, April Dewald. Good defensive line player for the Dixie Blues. But you look at this Force team tonight, John, they're gaining at least 5 yards on every carry, which let's credit the offensive line on that. It starts in the offensive line.
No question about it. Good run by Chules, the O-line, straight up the middle. Grisafi with the shovel pass. Mary Chules again, picking up first down yardage and then some. Boy, they worked that shovel pass extremely well.
Tough part about that shuffle pass, John, is you've got a lead blocker out there like Jamie Menzik in front of Mary Chules, and a lead blocker like Jamie Menzik, you're going to gain a lot of yards.
Grisafi back to pass, looking for more.
Yes!
Trish Harper got the catch.
Yes, another great catch.
Trish Harper, she don't like the easy ones. She likes the hard ones. What a catch.
She doesn't, and if you would talk to her right now, she definitely likes the hard ones more than the easy ones. That's a great catch by Trish Harper.
See Coach Adam Lewandowski right there, the linebackers coach at Rich East High School, special education teacher in the Homewood School District, and in his first year as the defensive coordinator, he's charging up the defensive troop. But right now, it's all about the offense, knocking on the door for yet another touchdown. And I think Sammy Grisafi saw the alignment, incorrect players in, and then she's going to call a timeout.
She didn't like what she saw there, which is a good decision, and Coach Konecki's probably going to be happy with that decision. But you look at Coach Lewandowski talking to his troops, and I love to see that because he's making adjustments. Even though we're up 24-0, he's still telling his players what he wants them to do, making adjustments. And what I like is what he's telling them and what my dad always taught me, play till the whistle's blown. Play till the whistle's blown. You don't stop playing until that whistle's blown, and a good defense does that, and I believe that's why the Chicago defense is so good. Coach Lewandowski is their defensive coordinator.
Did your dad use the whistle at home too, like to clean up your room, or you don't Can't get up from the table until the whistle's done?
No,
or?
he didn't use the
Okay.
whistle at home because we listened at home, but he did. He was our coach, and we heard a lot of whistles on that field.
All right.
He taught us a lot. He was a semi-pro football player himself, my dad, and
All right.
we definitely got the love of the game from him. And
Not met Dad Shafrath. I did meet Mom after the game, and she certainly is super fan number one.
Mama Schaff is the best fan in the world, our biggest supporters for the Force, and myself. Great mom.
Battling the wind up here in the studio, trying to keep our papers together here. Handoff, pitch out, I should say. Working away to the end zone.
Yes.
And in. Touchdown, Chicago Force, Arteria Ziegler with 3 carries on the season. I think she convinced Coach Konecki to give her the play that time. Coming out of the timeout, good look at Arteria there, defensive lineman. And not up the middle, they gave it to her to pitch out.
And I got to tell you, she looks a lot like Melissa Smith out there. I had to take a double take.
Wow.
She looks a lot like and runs the ball like Melissa
Another
Smith.
weapon, Mary Chules, too easy. Too easy if you're the Jacksonville defense. She does not get touched. 2 more points, 32 on the board for the Chicago Force. They win 70-14 last week. There's a good look at Bill Smith, one of the excellent assistant coaches, I should say, for the Force.
Coach Bill Smith has a lot of football experience. He played semi-pro football for years. He is one of the oldest coaches, as not oldest as age, which he would not like, but one of the oldest coaches that Chicago Force has. He's been with the team a long time, and he's one of the most well-liked coaches. The players love him, John.
I stood on the field as the players were ready to enter the stadium, and the coaches were right in front of them.
Isn't that great?
I've never seen 5 more intense coaches.
I agree.
I mean, and Coach Konecki could not stand still. He was jumping up and down. I mean, you talk about coaches that are fired up, totally into it, the Chicago Force coaching staff, and you can see that intensity and enthusiasm carries over to the players.
Which I love. And you know what? When you see a good football team like the Chicago Force, usually what's behind is a good coaching staff. And we have one of the best coaching staffs in the game right now in the WFA. And these coaches get just as pumped up, and it's fun to see, and it's fun to watch, and it's great to be a part of.
Are you reading that from a script that Coach Konecki gave you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I'm feeling it from within here, John. Feeling it from within.
And again, my partner Pam Shafrath, Chicago Force Hall of Famer, one of the best linebackers ever to play in the WFA, so she knows what she's talking about.
Well, thank you for that. There's nothing like it to be out there, and now watching this team get better and better is just really amazing to be a part of. And one game at a time here, but we have looking forward to what happens in the next few weeks, John.
Boy, we thought the Force would be the favored team here. It's hard to know because the teams don't travel the country and play each other. And Jacksonville had a 9-0 record coming in, but we thought the Force would have an advantage. But based on stats and scores, Pam, we did not think, with 9:52 left in the second quarter, that the score would be 32-0.
We didn't, especially with the kind of reputation that Jacksonville Dixie Blues has with their defense and their good running game, their good option package. This is surprising, but you never know when you've never played a team.
The foot of Trish Charbonneau, ever present, always busy. The run back of Michelle Robinson, and she is met by a host of tacklers, but meeting her first, Brandy Serta, number 1, with an excellent special teams tackle.
Brandy Serta had a touchdown last week as a wide receiver, now a big tackle on a kickoff. She's another veteran that has a lot of experience and a good leader on the team also.
Mentioned Midwest Orthopedics at Rush, Pam, nationally recognized as a leader in comprehensive orthopedic services and sports medicine. MOR is proud to be the team physician to the Bulls, Blackhawks, and our very own Chicago Force. That's Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Check them out at www.rush-ortho.com.
Yeah, they're a great group for the Chicago Force. And like we said last week, Midwest Orthopedics also services the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox. So they're a really, really good doctors group that takes care of a lot of our players. You know, it takes a lot to run a football team, and the Chicago Force has a lot of really good people behind them as sponsors, doctors, conditioning, all kinds of stuff.
Aaron Maroon looking down the field, incomplete. We should mention the young lady who coordinates everything for the Chicago Force, the general manager and owner of the team, right? Linda Bachet does a great job of putting everybody together, putting a lot of work in.
Owner of the team, used to play for the Force.
Yep.
At some years did double duties as owner and player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to say that Linda Boucher is the heart and soul of this team.
She really is.
She's the engine.
And she's
behind
in
the
that
train.
Hall of Fame along with you, correct?
She is, and we went in together, and nothing makes me happier because she was a great teammate of mine and loved to play football with her.
Here's the pitch out. Got some room this time up the middle. Gets tripped up. Looked like she was going to pick up more, maybe 3 or 4 yards. And that is Kim Smith, or Kim Brown.
Kim Brown, who's their top runner. I think we're going to see a lot more of her.
There's the Rocky on the back of the shirt.
Yeah, maybe that is her nickname.
But the bottom line is, Pam, she came into the game averaging 13 a carry. Chicago Force thus far have shut her down. There's a good look at Kim Brown, one of the top running backs in the league, but quiet thus far this evening.
They sure have, and I believe Darcy Leslie, one of her keys is to key on Miss Brown tonight, and she's doing a good job.
Third down. Pitch out. There's Kim Brown again. 13 per carry average, but meets a wall of black jerseys, and leading the wall, who else but Darcy Leslie, number 67. What a game she is having. And she sat out last week. You can tell she's rested, ready to go.
She's rested. So glad she's back. Probably a good idea to take off last week.
And an injured player, that is
Looks
not
like
good
Marks.
because that's Kim Marks down on the field for the Force.
Yeah, it looks like with Darcy's tackle, bent her backwards a little bit. When Darcy tackled her high and looks like Kim Marks tackled her low, hopefully she's going to be okay, John.
8:29 left, second quarter. 32-0 Chicago Force. You could see some concerned fans looking on as the medical people attend to Kim Marks. Good look. We got a nice turnout today, Pam. The fans have really turned out good attendance for this evening's game.
Glad this is a fantastic turnout. It's always fun to watch good turnouts like this. And, you know, come playoff time, it's good to see the support for the Chicago Force. And what a great football experience we have here, too.
See the offensive players enjoying some smiles on the bench. Sammy Grisafi, Trish Harper, and company.
Yeah, it's always good to see the, offense and defenses stick together. And, a lot of times the quarterback and the running back, they want to treat the line really well. And you hear a lot of teams in the NFL, they take their offensive line out to dinner a lot for protecting them. And that offensive line sure protects Sammy Grisafi and Melissa Smith, and all the other running backs for the Force. So it's good to see them, work together and be on the bench together laughing. And, they stick together. We're a very close team.
I want to thank our hard-working crew today, as it looks like Kim Marks coming off the field very gingerly. I don't know if we're going to see her again.
I don't like the looks of that
this evening, no.
At all.
And she is putting pressure on it, and of course the concern right now, 32-0 lead, the big concern is, hopefully even if she can't play this game, if the Force are to hang on and continue to win, will she be able to play in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, which couple of weeks is the matchup that everyone has been looking forward to. Even though we take one game at a time, we don't get too excited, but we do need Kim Marks if we do advance to the 21st, which is the semifinal.
Team captain, team leader, an absolute warrior on there, and warrior for the Chicago Force, and she has been for many years for the Force. And going to get a timeout before the play is reset here. Looks like the timeout called by the Chicago Force, so they're going to regroup a little bit coming out of the timeout. Started to mention, Pam, the fine folks, WJOB Radio, providing our crew for today's game. Chuck Pullen is our directors. We get a look at the Chicago Spirit Squad. You got to love them.
There they are. Chicago Spirit Brigade.
Absolutely.
Big part of the Game Day Force experience. What a great group. They've been a part of us for a long time.
All part of the atmosphere and enthusiasm when you come to the game. We should also mention up in the booth with us, cameraman extraordinaire, Mr. Jeff Corey. Great crew helping us out doing the game.
Great crew. They do such a good job for us, and to make this happen for us, for a lot of out-of-towners that can't come to the game, a lot of people that are at home right now listening to us, they do a fantastic job, and we're really appreciative for what they can do for the Force.
A lot of people in the Jacksonville area probably checking into the game. Some of the Dixie Blues fans, Adam Lewandowski, good look at him right there, the very intense defensive coordinator.
I like that call by Coach Lewandowski, John, to, with Kim Marks, one of the leaders that just got hurt. You got a new player in there.
Regroup.
Keep him focused, regroup. I like that idea right here, and I think that was a good call.
Here we go. 4th down and 3. They're going to go for it. The give to Kim Brown. Picks up a 1st down. Nice call. That's option offense at its best right there.
Sure
Good,
is.
crisp execution. 1st down, Dixie Blues.
1st down, Dixie Blues, and they did a really good job there. It all starts, John, the quarterback. In the option package, the quarterback reads the defense, and if there's one little mistake by the defense that doesn't go by their keys, the quarterback has to find that opening, and she did there. And the defense for the Force has keys. Each player on the defense has a key on this option, and they've got to stay with the keys, or else it's not going to work for the defense. So it's definitely a quarterback call, and she did a good job there.
Tempting to go for the ball, but we talked about it last
Yes.
week. Discipline defensively. Stay in your lanes. Take care of your responsibility. Out of the option offense, Aaron Maroon.
Here we go.
Similar
Opposite.
play, opposite side this time. Got some room, got a flag on the play.
I like that call by the Dixie Blues. Keeps the Chicago offense on its toes, and Darcy did a good job of staying home there and getting her hands on the runner. And it would have been a big game if Darcy Leslie didn't stay honest, and that was a good play by the defense of the Force.
Trying to get the number of the runner that time. Not sure if it was Raquel Castillo, number 10. It was not Brown. It was not Robinson. Coming out of the backfield, so they changed it up a little bit. There you see the penalty call. It's going against the Jacksonville team, and the Force will accept the penalty, push them back.
I believe that was either a block in the back or a hold, John. Yeah, Dixie Blues at this point definitely wants to limit their mistakes, whether it's turnovers or penalties. They need to limit their mistakes right now, being down 32-0.
Got to look at Trish Harper earlier there. Was 55 on the offensive side of the football. Sheila McFarland, one of the offensive linemen for the Dixie Blues. Rough start here for the Dixie Blues, but I, again, remind everybody, 9-0 on the season. An impressive regular season. 8-0, and then they won their playoff game, and Don Braddock, the head coach, they had a couple of forfeits, though, in there. A couple of teams forfeited, which is unfortunate, but...
And they won their playoff game against a very good Atlanta team.
Yep. There goes Kim Brown on the chase, running backwards before she goes forwards, runs out of real estate, and she also runs into the Chicago Force defenders. Look like number 80 over there for the Force.
Yeah, number 80, Ashley Bergeron. Good job of containing on that play. Yep. But it started out, John, you see our defensive line was pushing their offensive line back, so you had people falling down in the backfield even before the play started. So that wasn't, that play wasn't going anywhere from the beginning. You got to credit our defensive line.
Another of the offensive linemen right there, Ella Gilbert, also plays some fullback for him, two-way player out of Jacksonville, Florida, the University of Phoenix. Second down and long.
Second down and really long.
Second down and long for Jacksonville. Not a passing team, but Aaron Maroon may have to go to the air at some point here. They're working out of the I formation this time. Fake. Indeed, she goes back to pass. Short pass coming out of the backfield. A little miscommunication. She throw it early. Kim Brown not ready for it.
That was meant for Kim Brown, John, and if she would have turned her head and caught that pass, I think she would have been gone.
Yep.
That's a very good call. A little bit of a miscommunication here by quarterback and Kim Brown, but Maroon and Kim Brown, but that's a good play to call, and she would have had open field right after that catch. So we'll see if we see that again. One of the fastest players out there, so you're probably right. Would have been hard to catch. Third down, 24 to go for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. I don't know, Pam, if they get within 9 or 10 yards, down 32-0, they'll probably go for it on fourth down. I believe they will, especially they want to score before half here. They want to get some points on the board going to halftime. Let's see what they call. Again, Aaron Maroon directing traffic for the Dixie Blues this time out of a split backfield. And they got the big fullback coming out wide, and that's Ella Gilbert. Back to pass. Here comes the rush. Maroon on the chase, trying to get away. There's those hands.
Brought down.
There's those hands of Bergeron.
Ashley Bergeron, number 80. We talked about Ashley coming as an athlete, trying to adjust to the game of football. I think she's figured out this game pretty quickly, Pam.
I think she has, and you know what?
Wow.
When an athlete like Ashley Bergeron comes in with all the tools to play the game, and I talked a little bit to Ashley last year, and I know she was pretty frustrated because it took a little time for her to get to learn the game of football. But I think the coaches knew, we all knew she had all the tools. But you see right there, you call it the light bulb goes off in your head. The light bulb sure has gone off, because that's a big play, a big athletic play by Ashley Berggren against a really good quarterback. And it's fun to watch, and that's good to see.
Punting situation for Jacksonville on 4th and extremely long. Ball's fumbled, but not much of a rush.
Here
But
comes
she's not
Darcy.
going to punt the ball, trying to get away.
Yeah!
No! That Darcy Leslie again,
Yep.
I believe. Number 67 on the chase. The punter goes down, and the Chicago Force are going to get great field position. They never got the punt underway, Pam.
I don't know. It looks like there's two different speeds going on here. You got Darcy Leslie's speed and Ashley Bergen's speed, and this looks like it's high gear tonight, and they're really playing on a high gear, a high level, and it's fun to watch. These players are pumped up. They want that rematch against Boston Militia.
I'll tell you, an impressive first half, no question about it, for the Chicago Force. The fans, hometown fans, enjoying the game. I'm not sure how much the Jacksonville fans are enjoying it thus far listening, but still a long way to go. Certainly opportunities to turn it around, but all Force here in the first half. Sammy Grisafi at quarterback out of the shotgun. Mary Chules right next to her. They give the Chules up the middle. Big hole.
Big hole.
5 into the end zone. Barely touched. What a job of the offensive line. I think Jacksonville, Pam, was reading pass.
I would agree.
They gave it to Chules,
I
and she
agree.
scores easy.
I agree. And, you know, when you got a quarterback like Sammy and you run the hurry-up offense and you line up with trips to the left and single to the right, or even line up with twins, you're not expecting a run. But with a force offense like this, you've got to expect both, because they'll get you.
There's the 2-point play. Arteria Ziegler, who's getting a lot of carries tonight, gets the easy 2 points. Force, boy, I'll tell you, the two games we've seen, they've been impressive, but the 2-point plays, their power formation, I don't think they've missed yet.
No, that's the 4th 2-point conversion of the night. Same running play. The Force is saying, anyone that can stop this, go ahead. But their goal line offense is really tough to beat, and it's going to be a big factor moving ahead for the Force.
Arteria Ziegler is
Attack the ball.
I'm sure going to
big returns. Attack the ball.
canvas John Konecki and say, hey, I can play that running back position and try to get more carries.
Not only that, who do you prepare for when you prepare for the Force offense? You got Ziegler, you got Chules, you got Smith, you got Brandy Hatcher. I mean, you got all. I mean, it's going to be really hard to prepare for this Force offense when you're coming in and you're playing against them. So I don't think the Dixie Blues expected someone like Ziegler to get the ball. Maybe Melissa Smith, yeah, but not Ziegler. So it's tough to prepare for a team like this, and Coach Konecki does a really good job of throwing everything in there.
Yeah, you know, interestingly, too, we talked about it last week, the 2 leading receivers for the Chicago Force during the season. Good look at John Konecki right there, the
There he is.
outstanding head coach, 6 years with the Chicago Force. Last 2 as the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator before that. Does a great job coaching at Crete Moni High School, but the 2 top receivers, I don't know if it's injuries or not. We haven't seen Jeanette Gray, who was their leading receiver during the year, and we've barely seen Elizabeth Straczynski.
I believe Jeanette Gray is not here tonight, or Brandy Hatcher.
Okay.
They had family obligations tonight. But it goes to show you how talented and deep the Force team is after seeing the first half.
Okay.
You know, I said before this game, John, that the game of football starts at the line of scrimmage. And the Chicago Force offensive line is doing a really good job against a very good defensive line for the Dixie Blues. They're known for their defensive line. So it goes to show you how strong the offensive line for the Force is.
All right, Jacksonville gets the ball back. Still got 5:27 left, first half. Again, it's the semifinals of the National Conference Championship winner tonight, taking on the winner of the DC Divas and Boston Militia. We should be getting a report on that game fairly soon because they were playing this afternoon. I believe the Militia was up, but we will see
We'll have to
what
check
happens.
out that score.
And we have to get the point differential, but in all likelihood, Pam, if the Force hang on here, that game will be at home Saturday, July 21st. Good look at the Dixie Blues offense. And Aaron Maroon trying to figure out a way to get that offense moving.
And we both know, John, that having home field advantage in the playoffs is huge because you don't have to travel. And that's exactly what Chicago Force wants.
Long trip for Jacksonville up here, huh?
Yes.
There's the pitch
Fumble.
out. Fumble,
Oh!
and I think the Force got it. Wait for the official call. Nope. Dixie Blues got it back. I thought I saw a black jersey diving. Arteria Ziegler said, hey, my football, but the referees.
Like you said earlier, that on a force package or on an option package like that, you always have the chance of pitching and fumbling.
Yep.
So you got to have it down. You got to have the mechanics down and the timing down very well. And you know the Dixie Blues have been running this all year, but with the pressure of the Force, they're having a hard time getting that pitch off.
Yeah, my eyes weren't that bad. The Force did recover the football, but there was a penalty.
Okay.
Big walk-off, so the Dixie Blues get pretty solid field position here. 1st and 10, Pam, from the 45-yard line. A big walk-off against the Force.
Yes, it is. And, the Dixie Blues, they've got to change momentum here if they're going to get in this ball game. Like I said earlier, as for the mental psyche of the Dixie Blues right now, mentally, they want to get some points on the board before they go into halftime.
Aaron Maroon right behind the quarterback. Pitch out, roll out. Kim Brown trying to get to the outside. She gets there, but runs out of real estate once again. Pickup of maybe a yard. At best, the Force have done a great job containing.
They have. And the one way to combat speed, which Dixie Blues has with their running backs, is to combat it with speed. And I got to tell you, you got Darcy Leslie and Ashley Berggren out there containing. They both got speed. They're doing a good job of containing because they're combating speed with speed, and it's just not working.
The old story, speed never has a slump, right?
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Some of the best teams, some of the best defenses has really good linebackers with speed. Darcy Leslie, Ashley Berggren, both linebackers with speed. So it's really fun to watch.
All right, single backfield. Little
good block by 62.
Wingback reverse that time, and another absolutely textbook tackle. That time by number 45 of the Chicago Force, Dorian Bridges from Markham, Illinois. And you can put that one on film, Pam.
You sure can. You know
absolutely perfect technique.
It was. You know what I like about that play? She was blocked on that play.
Yep.
And you know what they call it is pushing off the block, shedding the block. She shed the block and made the tackle. I love to watch that. You know, that has a lot to do with good coaching and just heart. And that was a shoulder tackle to see.
The other thing I liked about that tackle,
what?
I got bad hearing, but you could hear that tackle up here. That was shoulder pad to shoulder pad tackle. Nicely down. Kim Brown picks up yards, 2 or 3 up the middle, and then dragged down by a host of Chicago Force defenders. You see number 21 for the Force, Rebecca Tusted, one of their fine linebackers, chasing her down. Ziegler, I think, might have been in on the tackle, too.
Yeah, Becky Tusted, talk about veteran. She's one of the most, she's been on the Force for a long time, and it's fun to see her out there. She was one of my teammates, and she reminds me, you know what she reminds me of, John? The old Teddy Bruschi of the New England Patriots. You know, a lot of heart, and knows how to play that middle linebacker position, and been playing since she was young with the boys. And it's fun to see her out here. She took a few years off. She's a police officer, and she took a few years off for, career reasons, but came back to play last year, and I love to see her out here.
Had 20 tackles on the season. Rebecca Tusted did 5 for losses, so very effective defensive player. Time out on the field. 3 minutes left in the first half.
You know, John, I like to make comparisons because I believe that women can play football just as well as the boys. And I've always believed that. I don't like to even talk about the difference between women's football and men's football because football is football. But I like to make comparisons because these women play like the men. And these women football players play like the men, and it's fun to see someone like, for example, Rebecca Tusted comparing to Teddy Bruschi because she plays like Teddy Bruschi, and I just love to make comparisons because I just think it's a huge compliment.
Yeah, sometimes for a female athlete, that is the best compliment. When
it sure is.
Spectators say she plays like a counterpart in the male athletic world. You saw Don Braddock talking to his team, head coach of Jacksonville. You could see the frustration on his face, Pam, but I like the composure, still trying to keep his players up.
I do like that, and you have to. There's still a lot of game left. I mean, you see the Chicago Force, who's playing very well, score very quickly. That can always go either way, and you never want to get too high. we talked about last week when the Force had a big lead, you still want to stay at an even keel and just concentrate on keep executing. And even when you look at the scoreboard, you're on the losing end, you want to keep playing hard till the whistle blows.
Matt Walsh, their offensive coach, Renee Braddock, the defensive coach, linebackers, and Lindsey Pizzitti is their defensive coordinator. That's the coaching staff for your Jacksonville Dixie Blues. 4th down and 8 punting situation.
Nice
Beautiful punt this time. Albie Zuby watches it. Got a shot. Gonna pick it up. And dragged down at about the 2-yard line. She's trying to get away from the football, and on the weird bounce, it bounced right to her.
She was able to handle that punt, but great punt coverage by the
Beautiful.
Dixie Blues.
And a
Great
great punt.
Yes. That was picture-perfect punt for the Dixie Blues.
Nicely done. Interesting strategy now. We'll see what John Konecki, the head coach and the offensive play caller for the Chicago Force, decides to do. 2:48 left, 40-0 lead. I asked the same question last week when we had a big lead. I thought maybe they would just run the clock out. I don't think that's in Coach Konecki's mindset. They're at the 2-yard line. Watch out, folks. The Force probably going to try to march down the field very quickly.
Not with the point differential that we talked about earlier.
Grisafi, hand off the Chules, almost got
a
tackled
safety.
in the end zone. That's a nice job of the Dixie Blue front line that time.
Got to tell you, Dixie Blues has a really good defensive line. I said from the beginning, their defensive line has a really big job against the Force offensive line, and it all starts there. And I believe the defensive line of the Dixie Blues has to have a really good game to beat the Force today.
Yeah, most of the battles have been won by the Force offensive line. That time it was the Dixie Blues, and they do it again.
Nice tackle. Nice tackle.
Nice stop up front.
That's number 62. One of their top tacklers, April Dewald, defensive lineman for the Dixie Blues. And you talk about the Dixie Blues defense, John. There's 6 of them that have 22 tackles, 19 to 22 tackles, which shows they spread the wealth on defense, which means they're a very balanced defensive team.
Yeah, and again, remind everybody during the regular season, before giving up 41 points to Atlanta last week, they had given up only 24 points the entire season. So an impressive defensive effort, but they have struggled defensively in the playoffs.
They have. Coming into the playoffs, one of the top defensive teams in the league. But you know what? You look at everyone's schedules, and some schedules are weaker than other schedules depending on what conference you're in. And sometimes you hit the playoffs, and you're going to see teams that are very strong throughout the year that you haven't seen in your conference play. So coming into the playoffs, Dixie Blues, very good defensive team. And you got to give credit to the Atlanta team last week and the Chicago Force today. Offense.
3rd down and 9 to the Force Gamble here. They're up 40-0. Minute 57 left. Obviously, as you can see, deep into their own end zone. Let's see what the call is here. Grisafi behind center, not in the shotgun.
Let's see if Dixie Blues can
Player
get a safety
in motion.
here.
Pitch out give. Got a chance at the 1st down. Picks it up. Mary Chules up the middle. Ball's fumbled, but I think the whistle had blown. 1st down for the Force, so they elect to go with the run, and Mary Chules and the O-line deliver.
That was a tackle by number 22, Brandy Bass. She's one of their top tacklers with 22 tackles on the season. Mary Chules fouls her blocks well, doesn't she? She's really fun to watch.
She has been tremendous in the playoffs. No question about it. She's been their feature back. Grisafi this time in the shotgun, passing formation, but they give the ball to Ziegler. Up the middle goes Arteria Ziegler. And she already, Pam, according to our stats, has more carries this evening than she had the entire season.
That's right. And Coach Konecki, like we said earlier, hasn't run the ball all year. Coming off the field, God, she looks a lot like Melissa Smith out there. What an athletic defensive lineman playing running back. Another power running back for the Force, an option for Coach Konecki in these playoffs.
Chicago Force Spirit Brigade firing up the fans here as we're winding the clock down in the first half. A little bit of confusion for the Force, but they get set. In motion, Grisafi with the handoff up the middle. See if they can get in one more play here before the halftime runs out.
Good run coverage by the Dixie Blues on that play.
It's been outside of the one run by Chules, an impressive defensive stand by the young ladies from Jacksonville.
Well, they're going to have to head into halftime here, John. Looking at the score, 40-0. got to make some adjustments at halftime.
If I were them, I'd head into halftime and not look at the score. They might want. I want to peek at the scoreboard. The Force and John Konecki going to let the scoreboard run out. It's going to be 40-0 at the halftime. We got 5 seconds left. The countdown. You see the players just hanging around. Beautiful, cool night here in Evanston, Illinois, and Sammy Grisafi and the Chicago Force are going to leave the field with a 40-0 halftime lead. Second half action to come. We'll talk a little bit in a minute, but right now we'll take a quick break. Pam Shaffrett, John Cohn, WFA Women's Football Alliance.
Hey, it's Michael D. Stewart. Been here for 8.5 years at WJOB and WJOB1230.com. It's been a while, but we finally got our video stuff up and running. We're excited about it. All the great opportunities available right here on WJOB1230.com. It's coming to fruition. Absolutely. And let's drink to that, my friends, as WJOB moves into the 21st, 22nd. We're ready for the 24th century right here at WJOB 1230. Once again, Michael D. Stewart, the Stu Man, Program Operations Manager. I just call myself Support Technical Entertainment Worker, Stu, for lunch. There you go, buddy. WJOB. Cheers.
Spin Nightclub is a sponsor of our Game Day MVP Award. At the end of each home game, we select an offensive and defensive player of the game. Spin Nightclub offers a comfortable and friendly environment for everyone, located at the corner of Belmont and Halsted. MOR is proud to be the team physician to the Chicago Bulls, Blackhawks, and your Chicago Force. That's Midwest Orthopedics at Rush, www.rushortho.com. Athletico. Isn't it about time you came off injured reserve? Schedule a complimentary injury screening at any of our convenient locations and receive personal attention by a licensed medical professional. Complimentary injury screenings are free, easy to schedule, and most importantly, provide you with peace of mind. Call 1-877-ATHLETICO or visit us online at athletico.com to find a location near you. Athletico, the official provider of physical therapy and athletic training to the Chicago Force.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Second half of play. Couple of minutes away here at Evanston High School. Again, Pam Shaffrett, John Cohn bringing you the game. The Chicago Force leading after a phenomenal first half, 40-0, and the Jacksonville Dixie Blues regrouping in the locker room, trying to figure out a way to get their offense, that option offense, in gear, Pam.
It's been a great first half for the Chicago Force, and I think the keys to this game before the game started was whoever wins the line of scrimmage is going to have a good game, and the Chicago Force has won the line of scrimmage tonight. They've established their running game, and the Dixie Blues offense, defense, which is a very good defense, has not been able to stop the run, and they haven't put a lot of pressure on Sammy Grisafi, our quarterback that can throw the ball. So what we've seen here tonight is a very balanced offensive attack for the Chicago Force that the Dixie Blues has not been able to stop as a defense. And as a defense for the Chicago Force, we've been able to stop their option package. So keys to the game, Chicago Force have been able to, do well on their keys, but the Dixie Blues hasn't come across with their keys, and it shows on the scoreboard with a 40-0 lead for the Force.
Pretty complete effort all around by the Chicago Force, but the one half, you got to complete the mission, if you will, and the mission is to get to the Saturday, July 21st championship game. Both teams have re-entered the field of play, and I believe the Force will be on the receiving end. They'll get the football. You see Trish Harper right there. She got a couple of unbelievable catches today, one for a touchdown.
She has.
Serta right there, number one, big game for her. Brashley Berger has got a touchdown. Mary Chules, number 34, outstanding, coming out of the backfield. And we should mention, Pam, that during the halftime we did get the final score, and we know that the winner of this game will be meeting the Boston Militia, the defending champions of the WFA, have advanced yet again.
And we probably could have predicted that. They are the defending WFA champions, and not only that, so 2011 they're the WFA national champions. The year before that, 2010, they were in the IWFL. They won the IWFL that year. So they're coming off 2 national championships into the semifinals against the Force if we win this game, which it's looking good right now. So as we predicted, very big rematch, July 21st, Chicago Force, Boston Militia.
All right, don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Still got a second half to go. You saw John Konecki working with quarterback Sammy Grisafi there on some of the techniques of the handoff and the fakes. Excellent coaching, as Pam has mentioned. And you see the Jacksonville Dixie Blues huddling up with their coaching staff, trying to regroup here a little bit. And down 40-0, not easy from a psychological standpoint. We mentioned it last week with Indianapolis. At this point, if you're Jacksonville, you don't want to look at the scoreboard. You just need to get a drive going, and I guess in the first case, you got to get a defensive stop.
You do, and you look at the scoreboard, and that's a big road ahead to actually get in this game against the Force. But what you got to do is you got to look at how much time you have. You got a whole half left, and you don't want to see a 0 on the board when you leave tonight for the Dixie Blues. So your goal right now is to hopefully make some big adjustments at halftime by the Dixie Blue coaches. This is a very good team. I'm sure they have. They have a lot of great athletes. Hopefully they've made some adjustments. They've got to stop the Chicago Force offense, and they've got to get some points on the board.
You see Sammy Grisafi, the very emotional quarterback for the Chicago Force, ready to take the field, number 15. First team All-Star this year again in the WFA. You see Jacksonville's going to have to kick to start the second half, so the Force is going to get the football. Suppose an onside kickoff is a possibility when you're down big.
Yes, that's always a possibility. You like to put in trick plays, keep everyone on their toes. Let's see what happens.
Lauren Church on the kick. Here comes the run back for the Force.
Ooh,
good
big
tackle.
hits.
Good tackle right there. Looked like number 22 on the hit. That was beautifully done. Maybe Monica Williams.
Yeah, number 22, she's got 22 and a half tackles on the year for the Dixie Blues. She's one of their top tackles. That was a really nice hit by the Dixie Blues, number 22. And it's good to see that coming out of the box, making a big hit. Like I said before the game, you want to make that first hit of the game. You want to make that first hit of the half. That's exactly what they did.
That's Brandy Bass. I apologize, not Monica Williams. Brandy Bass, number 22, made the hit. Sammy Grisafi, first play, second half for the Force. Shotgun formation. Handoff. Looks like Chules up the middle, and as she did in the first half, big gain.
Now, flag on the play there, John, but these running plays that the Chicago Force team is running, they're called counter running plays. So you start one way and then end up going the other way. That's really hard to defend when you have good blocking. And when Coach Konecki looks at this tape tomorrow, he's going to look at his offensive line and be very happy with the blocking on the offensive line on these counter plays, because that's why Dixie Blues are having such a hard time defending these plays. There's really good blocking for the Force.
You saw the referee call the face mask, so the run is going to hold up. Yards tacked on at the end of it, and the Chicago Force already down to the 40-yard line of the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. Handoff to Arteria Ziegler. Not this time. Good stop by the defensive line. Looked like number 53 in there first for Jacksonville. That's Ella Gilbert. And 63 also, Heather Bishop. Good job by Bishop.
Well, she read that play all along, and when you got Ziegler in, you know she's going to get the ball now. So you got to key on her when Ziegler's in.
Grisafi back in the shotgun formation. Chules back there along with her. Calling out maybe an audible. Player in motion. That's Trish Harper. Give the Chules.
The counter.
Not
Here
this
we
time.
go.
Not this time, as the Jacksonville defense making some adjustments. That time solo tackle Ella Gilbert.
Great play by Ella Gilbert. Big fullback playing both ways as we see. But they've made some adjustments.
Yep.
John, and it's good to see that, getting some backfield tackles especially. You know your defense is playing good when you're getting some backfield tackles, and that was a backfield tackle there.
Brings up a 4th down and 10. 4th and 10 for the Chicago Force. Looks like they're going to go for it. Grisafi. Handoff. Up the middle, looking for the first down.
Looks
Gonna
like
be close. I think she got it. But the referees are telling them to wait before the official give. You see it was Arteria Ziegler, number 73, getting a handoff. 4th and 10. They don't throw the ball. They go for the handoff play, but looks like they picked up the first down.
I like that call. Coach Konecki has a lot of faith in his running game, and when you got the offensive line blocking like they are, you're going to go at 4th down and 10 there. But it looks like the Dixie Blues defense had Ziegler in their hands, and it looks like there was a little miscommunication. It looked like they bounced off each other. Two Dixie Blue players bounced off each other, didn't make the tackle, and they were able to get the first down on that.
So a little bit of confusion out on the field, but
looks like Coach Konecki's bringing in his bigger offense, that goal line set double tight here.
Here we go from the I formation. The Chicago Force player in motion, handoff, or pitch out, I should say, to Mary Chul, brought down. Good tackle, boy. I'll tell you, the Jacksonville Dixie Blues defense hitting much harder.
I got to tell you, man, I don't know. This second half starting out with some really big hits, some pads hitting, helmets hitting. That's fun to see there. And that was a stop by the Dixie Blues right there. That's good to see. That's one of their best stops of the night, starting out the second half.
Lynn Pacitti, the defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues, did a very good job adjusting, at least on that first series. And we got a little mixed up with down and distance, didn't we?
We did, but
apparently that was the fourth down. We apologize, and I believe Jacksonville Dixie Blues got the football first down.
Like we said, Dixie Blues had to make adjustments on defense, and it looked like they did there. Let's see what they can do on offense.
All right, here we go. First play from offense, second half. Aaron Maroon, their quarterback, I formation. Threw the ball maybe 4 times in the first half. And a fake. Looks like there's going to be pass number 5. Under duress, he throws it away as Sam Scutara and company. There are about 3 or 4 black jerseys on the chase, and Aaron Maroon just threw that puppy away.
You got Sammy Skirto in there. You got number 30, Alicia Okri, who's got a lot of tackles on the year. And you know what? That's Coach Lewandowski calling blitz. He's got all these blitz packages that keeps the quarterback on her toes, and that was one of those. And, you know, it just seems like the Force tonight, a lot of speed out there. They're in high gear, and it's fun to watch their defense with those blitzes because they get in there fast.
Second down and 10, early second half. Jacksonville Dixie Blues with the football, trying to find a way to get on the scoreboard. Indianapolis Crash, I think both their touchdowns last week were in the second half, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jacksonville Dixie Blues definitely, let's hope they made some adjustments on defense. Let's see if they make some adjustments on offense here in the beginning of the third quarter. I think Coach Lewandowski wanted intentional grounding on that play with the quarterback there, but I don't think he got it.
Well, probably should have, because she definitely threw the ball away, but what he's going to get is a 5-yard penalty against Jacksonville. I believe it's going to be second down and 15 instead, as they get called for an illegal substitution penalty. A little bit of confusion, and Coach Don Braddock in Jacksonville going to take a timeout and regroup a little bit. There's a good look at Coach Don. And again, Jacksonville, tough night tonight thus far, but undefeated during the regular season.
Yeah, they want to, coming into Chicago, road game, very good history, great franchise, Jacksonville Dixie Blues, a lot of good athletes on this team. They want to make a good showing here tonight. And I know going in the second half, if I was a Dixie Blue player, I want to leave here with my head held high, and I want to make some adjustments. And they want to do a good showing here, and let's see what they do in the second half.
At 264 points on the season, they average about 37 a game, and defensively, averaging giving up only about 7 a game. And if you take away last week's playoff game, Pam, they're averaging about 3 points a game.
Yep.
But tonight, a different story. Aaron Maroon back to pass again. Open receiver, but they just don't have the crispness and the execution in their passing game just yet. Another open receiver.
I believe that was intended for 99, Alicia Houghton, a defensive line player who, you know, a lot of, like last week for the Crash, a lot of players are playing both ways for the Dixie Blues. But they make that pass, a lot of open field for her, and that's a dangerous play. Chicago Force has got to watch out for that. That's a really nice play that they have there that they haven't been able to execute just yet. But if they do, there's going to be a lot of yards gained.
And I would imagine the Boston Militia probably have a scout in the crowd observing that. And
I'm sure they do.
Again, we should mention one of the defensive backs, one of the starters, Brenda Van Kuyk, out for tonight's game. Pitch out to Kim Brown, taken down, flag on the play. We'll see what the flag was.
Taken down by number 82, Martha Dantuma.
Woo, what a tackle.
Big defensive player for the Force this year, Martha Dantuma. She's got 5 interceptions on the year, I believe, leads the IWFL, 7 deflections. She's coming off a great game last week, 5 tackles, 1 interception.
Good look at her right there, Martha Dantura. Number 82, big game last week, as you mentioned, Pam, against the Indy Crash, one of the many weapons. defensive side of the football for the Chicago Force. You also got to look at Kim Brown as she took her helmet off, trying to figure out what hit her. But, boy, Kim has just had an outstanding season, talking about number
She has.
2 for Jacksonville. But so far, a tough night tonight. She has ran into a brick wall.
She has. Kim Brown, their best running back, leading running back for the Dixie Blues, has had a quiet night, and you can credit that to the Force defense.
Yeah, the punter for Jacksonville has been very busy. 4th down, 15. They're going to punt. Not what they wanted to do in their first series.
Off the side of her foot.
Lauren Church
Side of
with
her
the punt.
foot.
She's had a few good ones, Pam, but a few that have been shanked a little bit. That one, not one of the best efforts from Lauren Church, and the Chicago Force are going to have very good field position. But I will tell you, in series number 1, the Jacksonville Dixie Blue defense, they won the battle with the line of scrimmage.
They did. They did a good job adjusting, and let's hope they can continue it on this series against the Force offense here.
See the offensive line for the Force coming out. There's that defense for Jacksonville, who got a little bit of a talking to at halftime, I think. Ella Gilbert and company, number 53, she's the nose guard. There's Grasafi, your quarterback. Give to Mary Chules. Picks up good yards.
Wow.
Got a chance. Finally brought down at about the 7-8 yard line. Call it the 9. And I will tell you, the more you watch her run, Pam, she's not the fastest running back in the league. She is not the most powerful. She has what I would call bounceability.
She sure does. She's so deceiving. Number 80, Santina Bryant, had her in her hands.
Yep.
She was able to shed that tackle and keep going. She keeps those legs moving, and that's the key to that. Well, there she comes back with a tackle, said, not this time.
Arteria Ziegler up the middle. Are you kidding me? How about that tackle by Santina Bryant?
And I think she wasn't happy with the play before that because she had Mary Chules in her grasp, didn't tackle her, came back with that tackle.
Absolutely gorgeous tackle. Santina Bryant, number 80, out of Florida A&M University, hometown Jacksonville, Florida. Here goes Chules up the middle.
Big hole.
That's a nice hit right there.
Yeah.
Brandy Bass with a nice hit, but Mary Chules just digging up yards, grinding up yards. Very elusive.
Very elusive. And I got to tell you, I think Mary Chules is good because she follows her blocks well. And when her blocks stop, she's able to cut back and gain even more yards.
I'm going to ask the Hall of Fame linebacker a question here in a second. Ziegler up the middle.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, the Dixie Blues are hitting. I mean, they're coming out stomping on defense here in the second half. Some solid hits. Ziegler stopped in her tracks that time.
They are, and they're keying on Ziegler when she's in now because they know she's getting the ball when she's in that ball game. And that's what you have to do as a defense. You've got to see those keys. You've got to see those players that are in and around you. But it's hard because Chicago Force offense throws so much at you so quickly, it's hard to defend that.
Grasafi, it's been all running so far on this drive. Chules up the middle, driving for the end zone, reaches across, waiting for a signal.
I think just short.
Just short. Mary Chules, you could see fighting for the end zone that time.
All right, here comes that big girl offense, John. Coming in, goal line set, double tight, I formation for the Force. This is the offense that the Force puts in that says, please stop it. No one's been able to stop it this
We
year.
have not seen Melissa Smith much. I don't know if she's injured or not, but Ziegler
see what happens here.
In the ball game now. In motion goes Melissa Smith.
Oh, they had her. Ziegler with the touchdown.
Arteria Ziegler into the end zone for the touchdown. There she is, number 73, having maybe the offensive game of her life. We typically see her on defense. Chicago Force able to get a touchdown. Not easy, though. Dixie Blues were tough, but not able to stop. There you see some frustrated defensive linemen, but they're certainly hitting a lot harder and at least controlling the line of scrimmage a little bit better, the D-line for Jacksonville.
Second touchdown of the night for Ziegler, John.
Here
She's
comes
having an amazing game.
Rare extra point attempt. They normally go for 2. Trish Charbonneau, she got it. It's a good move. You want to practice those.
I think that's smart for Coach Konecki. You got to get Trish Sharp in there for those extra points because you might need 1 point to win a game next few weeks against Militia or when we get to the championship. Not to look too far ahead, but you got to keep your kicker, practiced and ready to go if you need that 1 point.
10-12 left. Sammy Grisafi, Albi Zubi, and company feeling pretty good with a 47-0 lead over the Jacksonville Dixie Blues, and the right to go to the National Conference Championship game.
That's what the Force wanted from day one here. Getting to this point, this is what you work for. And you got 4 rushing touchdowns tonight, John, which says a lot about establishing our running game tonight, which is our bread and butter throughout the whole year.
Now let me ask the Hall of Fame linebacker here, as a defensive player.
Yes?
When you came up against a running back, what was more difficult for you? The power running back, the speed running back, or someone like Mary Choles, the elusive running back, the inside, not the great speed, but just able to find the holes?
I would say the very fast running back was harder for me. I believe when you got a very fast running back, she gets to the open field faster, and open field tackles are one of the hardest things in the game of football for a defensive player. So for me, it's hard to defend against a very fast running back, because once she gets in that open field, she's gone. So I'd say the hardest would be the fast running backs, which Dixie Blues does have tonight. She just hasn't been able to see a lot of open field. So I think if she gets a chance to see some open field, it'll be there.
Michelle Robinson fumbles, but the ball bounces right back to her. She gets hit solidly at about the 33-yard line. Call it the 32. Had a pretty good run back there, and then all of a sudden ran into a brick wall. And I think leading that charge, number 24 for the Chicago Force, that's Candace Griffin. You see Michelle Gottschalk coming off the field too. Nice job. We talk about the offense and the defense, but Pam, the special team for the Chicago Force, very effective in the playoffs.
Very effective. What I like to see about special teams is when you're on kickoff, defending kickoff teams like that, when you see a lot of black shirts or a lot of black jerseys of one team, it means everyone's playing to the whistle, and that's a good sign of a good special teams team, especially in the playoffs too. Your special teams want to get pumped up and make big plays, and when you see a lot of black jerseys for the Force on these tackles, it's good special teams action.
Hey, I love the Chicago Spirit Brigade.
So do I.
Those were some of the sorriest push-ups I ever saw.
Well,
as an ex-physical education instructor, I might come down there after the next touchdown. And
there we are.
There's a breakaway.
There it is. What did I just say?
She might go all the way. 30, 20, 10.
Speed.
Dixie Blues are on the scoreboard. Right up the middle. Touchdown for Jacksonville. That's Kim Brown, their star running back. Bottled up all evening, but not that time. 6 points right up the middle. Nice job by Kim.
That's what they were looking for all night. Very good blocking by the offensive line on that. Just right up the middle, big hole. And when you got speed, what I just talked about, it's tough to catch up with her, and that's exactly what she did.
Boy, you can see once she gets to the open field, now we know with that 13 yards per carry average. John Konecki not happy with that. The shutout is gone.
Wow. You don't want to give that girl a lot of room.
Shutout gone in a hurry. They had the ball, at the 33. So that is a 67-yard run. That'll help the average. Lauren Church, their kicker.
That sure will. And their kicker, I know before the game, she's a very good kicker. She's got, I think she's 18 for 22 on kicks this year.
Make it 19 for 23. I think that one's good, but wait for the referee's call. Might have been a flag. Referee's talking it over. Good job of officiating tonight by the
very good
WFA
job.
Crew.
Very good job. And when you get to playoff time, I mean, any time officiating is important, but you get to playoff time, you want the best of the best referees in your league on that field. And looks like tonight we got a really good group.
Now you talk about the players and teams advancing. The referees do too. The best refs advance to the better games. There you see the signal. The extra point is indeed good, 47-7, as the Jacksonville Dixie Blues get a little bit of feel good. There's Adam Lewandowski talking to his defense. Don't let up, folks. I think would be the basic message.
And it doesn't matter what the score is as a defense. I mean, defensive players are selfish. Defensive players don't want to see any points scored against them any time. And you see a coach right
The
here not
standard of
happy.
play
They're
does not
leading
change,
47-7
regardless
above
of the score or
Those show
timing
you
of the
how tough
game.
this coach
Get
is.
cleared everywhere.
There were
No,
some
I'm sorry.
mistakes made on that
Clear
play.
everywhere.
Yeah, the players are
Get
definitely
out there
hearing them.
and you run the
But,
game that we're supposed to run. And you are disciplined.
Yeah, that was.
and
You give some space to number 2 for the Dixie Blues, and she's going to go.
Good look again at the Spirit Brigade for the Chicago Force.
Yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful Saturday night here in the fine city of Chicago.
Well, not a lot of kickoffs for the Dixie Blues tonight, but they get to kick off now with 9:50 here left in the third quarter. Yeah, Spirit Brigade, they make this game experience awesome. They do a lot of different things, push-ups, a lot of acrobatics, a lot of cheering.
And they have fun. That's what it's all
right.
about. They enjoy being out there, enjoy cheering on the players, and I think the fans feed on that too. Here's the run back by Albi Zubi as she gets
Nice
out
tackle.
to maybe the 17, 18-yard line. Nice tackle as Albi Zubi, the primary return person, fine wide receiver for our very own Chicago Force. Good coverage that time by the Dixie Blues.
Very good coverage. Had three players in on that tackle there on Albi Zubi. Well, I know with that score, a little momentum shift there. Little positive energy for Dixie Blues. You can almost feel it up here.
And see if it carries over to the defense. And even though the Force scored in that last series, Pam, it was a different Dixie Blue defense. They were hitting, and you could tell more into it.
A little more skipping their step, a little harder hitting.
Yep.
I think they had a talking to at halftime.
Grisafi with the handoff. Boy, the Force have gone to the running game. They really haven't thrown the ball much, very unusual, and you could see the Dixie Blues are starting to stop the run. Mary Choles tackled behind the line of scrimmage that time.
They haven't. The runs killed the Dixie Blues tonight, and I think at halftime, Dixie Blues defensive coach is saying, hey, we got to stop this run tonight if we're going to get back in this ball game.
Why have the Force gone away from the pass?
I don't know because they came off a huge passing game last week, and I know they like to keep things, and they like to keep teams guessing here, but they have gotten away from it here in the second half. Maybe they'll get back to it now.
You saw the penalty walk-off, so tough break for the Dixie Blues. They make the defensive stop, but a penalty. 1st and 10 for the Force. Ziegler up the middle.
And, there's nothing wrong with Coach Konecki putting Ziegler in and the Dixie Blues knowing Ziegler's going to get the ball. He's saying stop it. Stop it. Stop this run if you can. And he does the same thing with Melissa Smith when you're in there. And with this line of scrimmage, he can do that. And, but it seems like Dixie Blues knows Ziegler's getting the ball or power backers can get the ball. They've got to stop it. They've been doing a good job the second half.
April DeWald and Ella Gilbert on the stops. This time Mary Choles as the Force have gone almost exclusively, somewhat surprisingly, to the running game.
Well, maybe they just want to burn some clock here.
Yep.
And get this game not over with, but, burn some clock here and just keep pushing the ball for some first downs with the running game.
And we should mention the host team for the championship games based on point differential. Talk a little bit more about it after this play. Right now you got Grisafi back of the shotgun. Maybe passing situation here. No. Handoff up the middle, and he goes nowhere. It was to Ziegler.
Ziegler on that run. They're keen. This Dixie Blues team's keen on that run now. Now we're punting. They're doing a really good job on this running offense right now, the Force, and they're keying on the running offense and doing a good job and stopped them right here.
Suddenly the Chicago Force offense getting a little bit predictable, and back we go into punting situation. In the last couple of playoff games here, Pam, they haven't had to punt too much. This is good practice, if nothing else, for the punting team.
It is, just like our extra point kicker, Trish Sharp. We got to keep our punter on target too here, and this isn't such a bad thing to get our punter in here.
Good kick. Fielded it about not fielded. They're going to let it bounce.
Takes a forced bounce. Good kick by Trish Sharp.
They'll get the ball at the 33-yard line. So Trish Sharp, not only their place kicker, but their punter as well.
She's that specialty player that does a little bit of everything, and you don't see that often, punter and kicker. She's really a talented player. Back in the day, When she first started playing for the Force, John, she played a little bit of linebacker, a little
Wide
bit of running
receiver
back,
too, right?
wide receiver, tight end. She's been a little bit everywhere. She's just an amazing all-around football player.
Lauren Church does the same thing for Jacksonville. She's their place kicker and punter. Ball on the 33-yard line. 7:13 left.
Let's see if they'll go
Third
back.
quarter.
Let's see if they'll go back to that same play that scored them their touchdown with Kim Brown.
Well,
I think I would.
At some point, they're going to go back to it, no question about it. We'll see if they come in with it right out of the gate. But that was the quick hitter up the middle, and Brown just ran 67 yards using her sheer speed. Out of the option offense, got to the outside, got some running room. Kim Brown knocked out of bounds, but a good pickup, 6 or 7 yards. Knocked out of bounds by number 45 for the Chicago Force, Dorian Bridges.
God, we saw her make a good tackle earlier in the game. Remember, she shed that block, made that tackle? That's another good tackle, open field tackle. And, you know, as a defensive player, you work on that out-of-bounds tackling. And there's a lot of drills that you work on, and she did a really good job in that out-of-bounds tackling. You got to hit it on an angle, John, and she did a real good job on that.
You can tell by the sound of impact. She's only about 5 feet,
Yeah,
2.5 inches tall.
hit.
Dorian Bridges, not real big, but she does hit hard.
I tell you, that's the biggest improvement in the Force this year is our tackling techniques, our tackling skills, and that's one reason why we're in the place we're in right now. Great defense.
Aaron Maroon, dangerous pitch out. Beautiful defensive play. Looked like number 30 coming in for the Force, Alicia Okri. Great defensive play.
Alicia Okri, 31 tackles on the year. Having a great year for the Force. See another great tackle there in the backfield on a blitz play. Another good tackler for the Force.
Sorry, Pam. Third down and 9. Potential passing situation for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. 3rd and 9. They haven't thrown the ball particularly effectively yet, but this could be a situation where they'll look to go to the air.
Well, maybe they can connect on that fake handoff, little dump pattern pass play that they've been trying to connect with all day today. Let's see if they bring it here.
Maroon on the handoff. Quick hitter up the middle.
There it is.
50.
There it
40.
is.
Got a chance of going all the way
There
on
it
the
is.
chase.
This is number 23.
10, 5.
Wow.
Michelle Robinson all the way.
Robinson this time.
They have found the weakness of the Chicago Force defense. Another quick hitter, buster up the middle, and Michelle Robinson puts 6 more on the board.
That looks like a trap block on those plays, and that offensive line does a good job on that trap block. Trap block is maybe a left guard, then hits to the linebacker to the right, makes a good trap block, and then it's open field, and that's exactly what happened for the second time today.
Beautifully executed by the Dixie Blues. A frustrated Chicago Force defense right there. I think if you're those young ladies right there, you probably don't want to go off the field and talk to Coach Aaron Lewandowski right now.
No, Coach Lewandowski.
That's not going to be a pleasant conversation.
Coach Lewandowski isn't happy, and I don't think they have a lot of different players in right now.
Yeah,
we'll have to look
that's
back,
their primary starting unit.
Primary
for the most
starting
part.
unit. You don't want to see that. And there's definitely a weakness there in that trap blocking. And another good kick.
Lauren Church getting it done, and suddenly life for the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. 5 minutes, 33 seconds left, and they have put 2 consecutive touchdowns on the board. 47-14 the score.
Well, this is definitely a different team we're seeing, John, for the Dixie Blues this second half. And they've made some adjustments, it looks like.
They have indeed. Head coach Don Braddock and the coaching staff for Jacksonville, nice job.
And you want to think about, let's talk about the point differential, because this might make a difference here. You know, this is what the Force is thinking about. They have a good lead, but that point differential for home field advantage you want to talk about a little bit, you wanted to talk about earlier.
You saw Coach Lou there on the sidelines. But, yeah, basically the team with the best point differential will host the game. And we have been told coming into this game the Chicago Force had a 12-point lead in point differential over the Boston Militia. So the Militia won 55-34, so that's 21 points. So the Force still has a pretty solid cushion.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty solid cushion, but that is something besides the final score you want to keep an eye on, too.
But there's some new life for the Dixie Blues right now, and you're feeling it up here.
No
There's
question.
definitely harder hitting, big adjustments, both offense and defensively. And, you know, you never want to get too high. I'm not saying the Chicago Force has gotten too high, but they want to still concentrate on their execution the rest of this ball game with 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
All right, a very busy and active Lauren Church will do the kickoff duties. After kicking the extra point, Albie Zuby is deep, as per always for the rush, for the force.
Oh,
And fumble. They
We got
fall
it
on the
back.
football. Smart play.
we got it back. And this is where
Smart play. You saw number 26 there, too. That's Elizabeth Strozinski.
Yeah, and that was just an aggressive play by Zuby. She wanted a really good running start after that catch. But what the Jackson-Dixie Blues wants here is quick turnovers here to get back in this game. They want to create turnovers here. They want to do quick 3-and-outs to get their offense back on that field to get some scores in here. I mean, there's a lot of ball game left. Force has a big lead, but they want to get maybe some turnovers here.
John Konecki, the head coach, a little bit more concerned than he was 4 or 5 minutes ago. And the force trying to hang on to the football. There's the quick pitch up the middle. Gain of about 4 or 5. Set up a 2nd down and 5, and that's Mary Chules.
Mary Chules with the carry. Again, big game for Mary Chules. And looking at the force today, John, and throughout the year, it seems like our bread and butter is our running game, but up the middle. We do such a good job up the middle. We don't do a lot of outside runs, and you know, it's our bread and butter, and we've been able to do it today.
Here comes the passing formation. Fake. No, not a fake. Give to Ziegler.
Ziegler.
Coming out of the backfield. She broke a couple of tackles, got close to the first down, but I think she's short. Sammy Grisafi back in the shotgun. The give to Arteria
Wow, another
Ziegler.
stop here. It's another stop by the Dixie Blues.
Yep, 3rd down, though.
Oh, is it 3rd down? Okay, I saw Two-Stead out there. I thought
nope,
the
they're going to
defense
call
came
it.
in.
Well, they're changing. They're calling it 1st down.
Okay, 1st down. All right, I thought it was a stop.
Yep, well, the referees were a little indecisive there, but they finally signaled the 1st down. So here we go, 1st and 10. Sammy Grisafi behind quarterback, behind center. I formation. Ball at the 45.
It looks like, you know, they could tell, it looks like a running plays coming up here, John. And look, you could tell by the Dixie Blues defense here. They definitely got a run defense right now.
There's the quick pitch, as we've seen so many times before, and it's very interesting. Pam, I'm finding it somewhat fascinating, somewhat curious that a Chicago Force offense that has so many different plays and so many different weapons have really gone to just 2 particular plays, the quick pitch to Chules
Yeah.
and the give to Ziegler.
I agree. I do believe that we might want to run out this clock right now and just get some long possessions. 1st downs, one after each other to get this clock going. That's the only thing I can think of here.
Possibly not wanting to show the Boston Militia Scouts any
Too
more
much.
of their
Yep.
offense. That's a possibility. Sammy Ziegler waiting for the clock to wind down, and then she'll call the play.
Or maybe
Smith
a trick
in
play
motion.
here. There's okay.
And that's the give to Ziegler again, right?
I got to tell you, when Ziegler's in there, you've got to know she's getting the ball. Dixie Blues are doing a good job of keying on Ziegler and making good tackles and doing a good job on the line of scrimmage. Their defensive line is finally showing up right now, doing a really good job on their run defense.
And again, on the season, Arteria Ziegler came into the game with 3 carries and 2 yards. And she's been one of the feature backs today. Who would have thunk it? Grisafi back in the shotgun. Here we go. The passing game back in action. Down the field she goes. Trish Harper makes the adjustment. Ball underthrown a little bit. Harper did a nice job coming back for the football. That's going to set up 4th down and a punting situation for the Chicago Force.
Another stop by the Dixie Blues. And I think the Dixie Blues have had a hard time with their pass defense tonight. When you look back on the game today, and Sammy Grisafi throws with, you know, twin setup or trips right or single receivers, the coverage has been, there's been some open receivers out there, including that play, open receiver with Trish Harper.
4th down and 9, punting situation. The left foot of Trish Charbonneau caught on the run.
Great tackles.
At the 45-yard line, brought down.
Marks is back in there. That was Kim Marks on that tackle. That's good to see.
It's good to see. Number 85, Kim Marks, back in the game. If you're just joining us, she got injured in the first half after playing an outstanding first quarter. Had to limp off the field with help, but she appears to be healthy. Well, here we go now. The touchdown before the end of the 3rd quarter, Pam, and things could get interesting.
Little taste of their own medicine, the Force here with scoring really quickly, 2 scores here. And if I know the Chicago Force defense, they're not happy right now. They want a 3 and out right now. That's what they want. They want some big hits. They have some pride here, if I know the Chicago Force defense.
Aaron Maroon with the handoff. Pickup of maybe a yard.
Well, coming into the game, we knew the Dixie Blues, John, their running game was very powerful.
Yep.
And it showed here in those last 2 touchdowns how powerful it can be if they get the right blocks, especially on that trap play up the middle. And a very good weapon, very dangerous.
2nd down and 9, minute 58 left. That was Michelle Robinson on the carry as their 2-pronged weapon back there. Robinson, number 23, Kim Brown, number 2. They're both in the backfield right now, split backfield behind Aaron Maroon. Pitch out, quick.
Nice.
Sammy Scatura had the catch, but she gets away from Scatura, but then gets help from her friends. Nice team pursuit. Number 82, Martha Dantura.
Great defensive coverage by the Force there. Sammy Skirto, number 55. And that little pitch play to the outside that they fumbled on several times early in the game, the Dixie Blues, that little pitch pass, that little pitch play to the outside. Chicago Force picture-perfect coverage on that contain. You had 3 black jerseys containing, a lot of speed, stopping that pitch play for the Dixie Blues.
3rd down and 9, big situation. Might be 2-down territory, down 47-14 if they don't pick up any yards. It'll be an interesting call by Don Braddock. We'll see how much he gambles, but
this is a big first down for Dixie Blues, John, I think. They want to get this first down and keep their momentum going.
watch for that trap play. You know they're going to come back to that. The quick hitter up the middle they've been so successful with. Not this time. Maroon back to pass. Nobody open down the field, but she gets away. And almost picked off. Almost picked off by number 45. That's Dorian Bridges.
You know, I've been looking at Dorian Bridges all day on her coverage. She's had fantastic coverage all game, including that play. If that player's open, I know that pass was a little short, but the quarterback, Maroon, did a really good job of getting away from that pressure,
she did.
getting rid of that ball, trying to find a receiver, but Dorian Bridges was key to that play.
4th down and 9. You're exactly right. Erin Maroon looked like she was going to get taken down. She bought herself some extra time by getting to the outside.
I thought she was going to maybe run on that play, too.
Yep. It looks like punting situation. Lauren Church is in, so Coach Don Braddock not going to gamble with 36 seconds left here in the third quarter. Down 47-14. Always fake is always a possibility.
Always a possibility. When you need quick points on the board here, maybe they'll come up with a trick play.
Almost blocked. Almost
Great
blocked,
punt.
but she gets off a great kick. Headed towards the end zone, and it's going to go. Tough break for Jacksonville. Lauren Church absolutely uncorked a beauty, and it was under pressure, Pam.
Yeah, it was under pressure. She's got a really good boot on her.
Inconsistent.
A little inconsistent.
But when she hits it.
Wow. Great talent there on that, with Lauren on that. I mean.
A couple of people have been asking Pam when the top 10, or is there the top 10 Pam Shafrath hits or football plays available for anyone to purchase? They haven't come out with that highlight film yet?
Well, I don't know. Linda and I together had some hits. Linda Bechet and I.
Okay.
I
think we need to put together a top 10 CD.
Some of my favorite tackles were with Linda Bechet, both of us. So it was usually both of us coming in on a running back pretty hard. So a lot of good memories. I
asked my coach for the top 10. He said, right now there's only 3. So we got to wait to put that CD together. It never was developed. All right, here's the handoff as the Chicago Force might be running out the clock here in the third quarter, but a nice pickup by Mary Jules.
Off tackle play, the bread and butter of the Force up the middle. Counter plays up the middle with good blocking. Mary Jules, like we said, very deceiving. And I tell you, the key to her running is she follows her blocks and she keeps her legs moving, her feet
durable.
moving.
She is durable because she's had a lot of runs. That'll bring
she
up
must be pretty young. She's a rookie. She probably is young.
2nd down and maybe a yard and a half coming up. We are going to take a quick break. Back for the fourth quarter here in the game between Jacksonville and Chicago. Back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. welcome back. Fourth quarter of action. Jacksonville Dixie Blues with the football. I'm sorry, the Chicago Force with the football. Jacksonville Dixie Blues trying to get back in the game here, and they have done a pretty good job of it with a couple touchdowns in the third quarter. You saw the handoff there to Ziegler, picked up some solid yards and enough for a first down.
Number 80, Santina Bryant with the tackle. She's fun to watch out there. Big tight end and defensive end for Dixie Blues. She's 6 foot 190. She's a good-sized defensive end, making a really good tackle there on Ziegler.
Got to look at Leslie Velez, number 54, one of the offensive linemen for the Chicago Force. First down and 10.
Man, you looked at this offensive line of the Force, man. You stand in front of them before the game. They're a big offensive line. They're going to be tough to beat.
Sammy Grisafi letting the clock run into the very last second before calling the plays. Up the middle she goes. At Jules?
Jules again.
Mary Jules, we don't have the exact stats, but I think she's well over 20 carries at this point. She and Ziegler have been the two workhorses this evening.
They sure have. And Jamie Dunlap on the tackle for the Dixie Blues, number 27. And it looks like Coach Konecki's doing is he's giving his big running back, Melissa Smith, a good rest before that semifinal game, hopefully in 2 weeks against Militia.
Mm-hmm. All right, Grisafi back in the shotgun this time. Second down and short. Maybe a yard and a half.
Looks like a passing play here. Let's see if Dixie Blues can get some pressure on Sammy, and they do.
Back to pass.
And
we
they
haven't
do.
seen a pass for a while. Albie Zuby absolutely wide open, but looked like she tripped and fell.
Albie Zuby was wide open, pass a little short, but the only reason why that pass was a little short is there was some pressure on Sammy there. For the first time tonight, Sammy got some pressure by the defensive ends of the Dixie Blues, and that's what the Dixie Blues need to be doing all night. They got to get some pressure in on Sammy so Sammy doesn't have time to hit her awesome receivers.
Third down and 1. Big stop if Jacksonville can get it. Power formation for the Force. Grisafi again going to wait for the clock to wind down. Melissa Smith in motion. Quick pitch to Ziegler. We've seen this play all evening long. Not a lot, but that's enough, Pam. Enough for a first down. Arteria Ziegler.
Enough for a first down. Hard-nosed football. Good blocking offensive line. Running game. Little yards at a time. That's exactly what the Force have been doing all night.
Using Melissa Smith as a blocking back a lot this evening.
Which doesn't surprise me. Melissa Smith is a great blocking back with her size. She has a lot of experience blocking, and she doesn't mind blocking.
They stay in that running formation. Grisafi right behind the center.
This is that double tight I formation that they love in the red zone. This is a real tough offense to stop.
Boy, and the Dixie Blues have 10 in the box. I mean, literally everybody up front except one free safety.
Definitely a run defense and flag on the play.
It was about a 6-7 yard pickup by Mary Jules, but as you heard Pam say, flag on the play, it might come back.
And you know, when you have this double tight I formation that the offense or the Force runs, this really powerful offense that's hard to stop all year, you've got to have at least 10 people in the box. You have to against a Force offense like this. It's really tough to stop, and it's not only you don't only have to have 10 people in the box, but with the size of the offensive line of the Force, it's really tough to get in the backfield on an offense like that. So you got to have at least 10 in the box, which the Blues is trying to do.
All right, you saw the face mask call from the official. That'll give the Chicago Force a automatic first down. Ball at the 31.
A lot of penalties are hurting the Dixie Blues tonight.
Yep.
At this time of the game, you know, with a little momentum shift, these last few penalties have hurt them.
That was a big one right there. Keeps the Force on the move. There's the tight formation. Smith in motion. Big hole for Ziegler that time.
Wow.
Up the middle she goes. It's going to be a touchdown.
There it
up
is.
the middle, Arteria Ziegler. Oh, my goodness. What a
Third.
job of the offensive line. And Ziegler
Third touchdown of the night.
showing a little bit of a burst, Pam.
Very big burst. I got to tell you, after seeing Ziegler run tonight, I'm telling you, she looks a lot like Melissa Smith. You got two running backs that could stay fresh throughout the game with the capability of running like Melissa Smith. that's going to be a very tough weapon to stop.
Maybe they've been saving her all season long. You see Rebecca Tewstead in the backfield. Rare moment in time. The handoff. Oh, good stop that time.
Very
One
good
of the few
stop.
times we've seen the
Yes.
force. Mary Choles nowhere to go. Brought down beautiful defensive play. No two-point play that time. Looked like, amongst others, Kim Brown. Number 2 in on the tackle, but boy, what a run by Ziegler.
And I want to commend, any football player that plays both ways. It's very hard to do. And a lot of players that we've seen that we've played against play both ways. And I want to commend these athletes because it's very hard to do.
And you get a good look at Kim right there, and a very busy and active number 53 for the Dixie Blues. Ella Gilbert, another two-way player. Good look at the force on the sidelines. Arteria having the game of her life. Arteria Ziegler, 5'4", out of the city of Chicago, graduate of Chicago State University. And she has been a workhorse. And, boy, great burst up the middle that time, and that was the big touchdown. And probably the one that puts away officially the Jacksonville Dixie Blue.
Absolutely. And, we might sound like a broken record, but all year this year, John, it seems like a new player comes out of the woodwork for the Force. And tonight, it's been Ziegler. And with all these weapons that the Force has, I think it's as a coach, how do you use all these weapons effectively? And you've got to hand it off to Coach Konecki by being able to do this and pull this off and using your talent, to the best of their abilities. And he's done a good job of that.
See Trish Charbonneau on the kickoff here. The left foot of Trish.
Oh,
good kickoff, goes over the head of the return person.
Great kick.
Michelle Robinson, ball will go into the end zone. Yeah, Pam, one thing about that depth is it almost causes a problem for the coach, because you do, as a coach, you want to keep everybody happy.
Yes.
Get everybody involved, but I guess that's one of those situations where you call it's a problem, but it's a good problem. A lot of coaches would like to have that problem.
And it's a good problem, and when you look at it at a teammate point of view, if you have a very selfish team, it's not going to work. And I think it says a lot about the Force players spreading the wealth and having everyone know their role. And I think that's the key to a championship team, too, is having every player know their role. And I think these players on this team know their role, and they're happy to spread the wealth. A lot of teams aren't like that. And I think it says a lot about the Force and how good they are this year because of that.
Here's head coach John Konecki, still coaching, still intense. 53-14, 11:47 left. There's Coach John, a rare smile on the face of Coach Konecki.
You got the Spirit Brigade down there. They have to do as many push-ups as points, so that's 53 push-ups, John. You think you could do that?
No. No, I go about 25 is about my last oomph. But if I hung around Chicago Force football and did a push-up for every point, I'd be in a lot better shape, I can guarantee you that. Aaron Maroon back to pass. The quarterback looking, and found an open receiver. Unfortunately, it was the coach on the sidelines.
Yeah, she does a good job evading that pressure, doesn't she?
She does indeed.
She does a real good job. Very athletic quarterback. Could tell she knows the plays at like the back of her hand here. For the Dixie Blues, very good competitor.
Gamer, I like the way she plays.
I do too.
If you look at Jacksonville's lineup, if they can get a little bit of a passing game, you could see their defense has potential. They got to shore it up a little bit. For the most part, though, a pretty good defense. They just need to get that passing game.
Well, just like anything, when you meet a Force defense like the Force and you're one-dimensional, it's pretty tough.
Yep.
And I'm not saying the Dixie Blues are crazy one-dimensional, but, their running game is their strength, and Force have been able to stop it.
Up the middle run. Speaking of stops, nowhere. That'll bring up a 3rd and 10. Kim Brown up the middle that time.
That was number 91, Big Tammy Engelman of the Force, also an all-star, big defensive tackle for the Force.
Long-time stalwart for the Chicago Force, Tammy Engelman.
6 foot, 345. That's a big defensive tackle. That's what you want at defensive tackle. You want to close up those holes as a defensive tackle and just don't let anyone run through that, and Tammy Engelman does a good job of that.
Out of Crystal Lake, Illinois is Tammy Engelman, number 91.
It seems like, too, as Force defense, Brenda Van Kuyk is hurt today, but then someone else steps up on the defense, and that's what's happened today, too.
Got to look at Oakrey. There's the pitch out. And a beautiful tackle at the end of it. Kim Brown picked up 5, maybe 6, but a good, solid shot by Alicia Oakry, the 5'4" free safety out of Plainfield, Illinois. Good hit.
Great sideline tackle by Oakry, and they're still trying to get the outside of that force defense, which is their bread and butter. More outside play for the Dixie Blues, whereas the force offense likes to go up the middle. So that Dixie Blues are still trying to get to the outside, which is their strength. They're still trying to push their strength and make it happen.
4th and 5, Pam Shaffrett. 10-16 left. You're down a bunch.
Got to go for it.
Well,
let's see. Well,
and you're deep in your own zone, though. Ball at the 25. Looks like Don Braddock is going to have his fine punter, Lauren Church, punt the ball. Tough call.
She sure is
the temptation is to go for it, no question.
Yeah. Lauren Church gives you some good field position with her punts.
Good pickup, low snap, nice bounce.
Got Dantuma returning instead of Zuby, usual Zuby on that.
Martha Dantura back, number 82.
Good
defender, wide receiver, kick returner.
Good field position, 9:48 left in the fourth quarter here.
See Dawn Peterson, number 86, with her hand raised. We don't talk about her enough, but she's one of the stars of that offensive line. First team All-American in the WFA and another long time play. You played with Dawn many years.
Yes, I did. Dawn Peterson, great football player, knows the game very well. One of the many leaders on the Chicago Force team, all-star. She's definitely been a mainstay for the Chicago Force. And, there's so many players to talk about on the Force. Sometimes we miss a few, and she's definitely one of them.
See Sammy Grisafi surveying the defense. I formation. Again, it looks like Choles and Ziegler in the backfield. They give to Ziegler up the middle. Breaks a couple of tackles.
Wow.
Breaks 3 or 4 tackles. Finally brought down by number 19, Jamie Murrah.
Wow, it took 5 people to tackle Ziegler on that. She is really tough to take down. And like I said earlier, reminds me a lot of the way Melissa Smith runs.
It's going to be interesting in a couple of weeks when they play the Boston Militia.
It sure is.
To see if it's Ziegler or Melissa Smith that gets the carries, and if it's Choles or Brandy Hatcher will be back carrying the ball, I would assume.
Ziegler again getting the workload tonight.
Force doing a nice job hanging out of the football, too. They had the one fumble.
They did.
Early in the game. If you're joining us late, Force drove all the way down on their first drive to the 1-yard line and fumbled the ball away. But since then, they've really executed extremely well in their running game.
Did a really good job. Does a really good job of protecting the ball all year. They haven't fumbled a lot. And, in the playoffs, you want to keep your turnovers down, and hopefully the Force can keep doing that. Not a lot of turnovers for the Force.
Fans getting into it, having some fun here on a beautiful Saturday night.
And anyone listening, I really want to urge people to come out on the 21st to watch the semifinal game. It's going to be a good one. Oh, speaking of fumbles.
Well, as soon as I talk about the execution and how well they've hung on to the football, immediately they make an error. Thank you very much. Sammy Grisafi not too happy about that.
No, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop talking about it.
Had a nice conversation earlier, again, if you didn't join us, with Laura Ricketts, one of the owners of the Chicago Cubs, who was nice enough to come out and support the Chicago Force tonight, and in fact did the honorary coin flip.
Yep. She came up and talked to us. We had a great time with Laura Ricketts, and what a really nice lady, and fun to talk to her about the team. And it was nice because she knew about the Force, and it's fun talking to her about our team.
I'm hoping down the road we hear a Pam Shaffrett maybe singing the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at Cubs Park.
That would be a dream come true, actually. I grew up going to the Cubs games, John, and went to a lot of them. And I was the one with the scorecard, keeping scorecard each inning, and drinking my Coke and having my hot dog. And huge Cubs fan, and it would be great to go to Wrigley Field.
I'll tell you what, if they get you to do it, me and a couple of friends will we will be the background singers for you. Okay, but I might have to take my mom with me. You met my mom, very dynamic lady. Absolutely.
Me and her and I doing Take Me Out to the Ball Game would definitely be awesome.
Yeah, then you don't need the background
No,
singers.
I don't think we would.
All right, here we go. 3rd down and 11 for the Chicago Force. 3rd and 11. Grisafi with the give up the middle. Nice tackle. Pick up a 3 or 4, bring up a 4th down situation from this area of the field, Pam. A little bit too far for a field goal, too close to punt. Probably go for it.
Yeah, I think they'll go for it. Man, Ziegler's going to need that ice bath tonight. You know those ice baths that football players go into? She's been getting a lot of carries.
Will that be before or after the after party?
After that.
I got to go to one of these Chicago Force after parties.
Oh, they're fantastic. You talk about camaraderie.
Yep.
This team has it, and it shows in all of our after parties. We're a really close-knit organization. The after parties are a lot of fun because of how much we really do care about each other, and I think football is one of those games and one of those chances as an athlete where you can't get closer than a football team does. I mean, you go into battle with each other, and the good football teams are close on and off the field, and Chicago Force is.
All right, it'll bring up a 4th down situation, and it looks like now it's 4th and long. We may be going into a punting situation.
Yeah, we'll get Trish Sharp with some practice on some punts.
Penalty there in the walk-off.
Force
trying to get the right players on the field.
Arteria Ziegler is listed as 5'4", 210, a defensive lineman. Had 3 carries all year, and tonight, 3 touchdowns.
Yep. Again, don't have the exact stats, but probably, about 17, 18 carries for Ziegler?
At least.
There's the punt from Charbonneau, the little pooch punt. You hit it too good. Hit it too squarely, and the Jacksonville Dixie Blues will get the ball at the 20-yard line. Don't forget, on the other side of the bracket, the Kansas City Tribe and the Dallas Diamonds are doing battle, and the San Diego Surge and the Bay Area Bandits are battling, and one of those teams will come out. And again, the ultimate goal here, Pam, to get to the August 4th National Championship game in Heinz Field.
What an opportunity that will be.
The Silver Sport Women's Football Alliance National Championship game.
First time a women's football game, John, is going to be played in an NFL stadium. That's big news.
And ESPN 3 will be covered.
Yes.
Not sure if they'll ask us to be the announcers, Pam. I'm going to guess no, but if anybody from ESPN is listening, I am available for purchase.
Yes, that would be an opportunity of a lifetime, and maybe they'll call us after this game.
Don't hold your breath. Ball fumbled. Chicago Force diving for the football. Wait for the signal here. And it looks like they got it. They got the ball back. Number 41, Kelly Beal from Lake Forest, Illinois. Fumble recovery. Great field position for the Force. 5:23 left.
Still making defensive plays, Chicago Force defense. I love it. I love to see that, John.
By the way, if they do ask me to do the game, Pam,
yeah.
I will refuse to go if they don't ask you also.
Okay, so we're a package deal.
Absolutely. That's with ESPN 3. If it's ESPN 2, then I might say, Pam, who?
Hey. No,
My loyalty only goes so far.
Look, everyone having a good time.
Choreographed dance routines here.
Love it.
Things are picking up. But you're exactly right for the game here on Saturday, July 21st. Looks like it's going to happen. We got to get a huge crowd.
We do.
Got to get the fans out for that game. Grasafi with the handoff up the middle.
That looks
driving for extra yards, almost in the end zone.
You know who that was? Number 21, Becky Tewsted.
Rebecca Tewsted gets her first carry of the game. Normally a linebacker, and I'll tell you what, the way she ran there, she might get more carries.
Well, I got to tell you, she's normally a block.
Good look at Rebecca right there. She was just dragging defenders.
She's normally a blocking back on that double tight, and she can run the ball.
Ziegler gets the ball. Ziegler in the end zone. No penalties. Touchdown, Chicago Force. Pam, I'm losing track. What do we got, number 4?
That's number 4. Number 4.
I'll tell you what, I know who the star of the after party is going to be is Arteria Ziegler.
Wow.
My goodness, what a ball game. And again, she'll be the first to credit the young ladies up front, the offensive line. Here's that power formation.
Our offensive line has been such a huge part of our team this year, and tonight.
Quick give to Tewsted. Right through a somewhat demoralized Jacksonville defense.
Tewsted, normally the blocking back, gets a lot of yards, and the 2-point conversion goes to show you, talk about that depth. Another person coming out of the woodwork, scoring a two-point attempt for us.
Chicago Force go up 61-14, 4:49 left. And Don Braddock and the Dixie Blues obviously a little dejected. They made a quick run at the Force, but it's not going to happen. 61-14, and the best they can do now is maybe try to put a touchdown drive together, but the Jacksonville Dixie Blues season will come to an end in this particular game, an undefeated season up until tonight.
You know, I think this, looking at the way this second half has played out, you had the Dixie Blues come in, make adjustments, showed right away in the third quarter, scored 2 quick touchdowns, had some defensive stops. But I think when you look at this football game going into the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, it looks like the Force made adjustments upon the Dixie Blues adjustments. And I think that's the sign of a very good team. You got good teams that make adjustments, but a very good team makes adjustments upon adjustments, and I think that's exactly what the Force has done. And it's just a sign not only of good players and good athletes, but good coaches. Adjustments are key in any kind of game, and I just think this adjustment upon adjustment says a lot about the Chicago Force.
Pam, you've done it as a player.
Yes.
You've done it as an announcer. Any thought processes to, in all semi-seriousness, of becoming a coach?
Oh, I've thought about it big time. I would love to coach women's football.
I mean, already you're an unofficial coach to the team, because I know you know the players and you give them pep talks. You talk to them before and after the game, but
there's no doubt I would love to coach in the future. I think my dream would be to coach. Remember we talked about last week? I think if women's football is going to get bigger, little girls need to start playing. Okay. I think my dream would be to coach young girls, and I would love to do that in the future, but I definitely would love to be more of a full-time basis coach for the Force in the future.
You saw some solid contact right there to Pam. If you were coaching, you would have loved that hit right there. Candace Griffin, number 24, with a big-time pop. But credit the running back. She stayed up, but a great hit by Griffin.
I said her earlier, Candace Griffin, when Laura Ricketts was up here talking to us, Candace Griffin made a big hit, and I said earlier, she's really fun to watch. I love the way she tackles. We've got a lot of good tacklers on the Force defense.
Griffin, Dorian Bridges, Brenda Van Kuyk, 3 of the defensive.
Darcy Leslie.
Are those 3 new to the Force this year?
No, Brenda Van Kuyk is new to the Force, but not Oakrey and Griffin.
And not Candace?
No, they're I think 3-year players, whereas Brenda Van Kuyk is new to the team. But they just keep getting better and better, and you got to credit not all these athletes but these coaches. I mean, sign of any good team is behind a good team is a good coach. And
4:36 left, 1st and 10. Aaron Maroon looking for Kim Brown, nothing going on. Big rush, throws it up for grabs. Caught by Coach Kadecki on the sidelines.
Well, he made up for that miss last week, remember?
That's 2 catches.
No, he missed
an
easy one last week,
That's
remember?
right. That's why he's celebrating.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the team gave him a hard time on that one, but what a rush, as Aaron Maroon had no chance to find a receiver down the field.
No,
Great pass rush.
Yeah, I think one of not only our tackling skills great for the Force defense, but our rush is fantastic. And it's probably looking back at past years of the Force, being around this team since day one, we probably have the best pass rush we've had in a really long time. Probably the best pass rush I think we've had as a team out of the 10 years. And that's really important to have.
Now, let me ask you, you've seen more games than I have this year. As the Chicago Force fans enjoying the final minutes of the game here, there's the give. First time fumble.
Oh, another fumble.
I think that was the first give of the game. Alec Gilbert fumbled the football, but I think they recovered it. 4:16 left on the clock. But I was going to ask, with the amount of blitzing that Coach Lewandowski does and our aggressive pass rush, have teams tried to throw the screen pass against us?
Not many teams have tried to throw the screen pass against us, and I think that's definitely one of those things that a team can do against us, and people scouting us. There's always a weakness in any team.
Okay.
And there's not many weaknesses in our defense, but when you got a good pass rush, that screen is a good play. But you got to have some good blocking for screen plays, and I don't know if any team has had that combination.
But it is a way of softening the pass rush,
yes,
if you will.
It is.
Third down and 9 coming up, 3rd and 9 for the Dixie Blues.
Yes, and I think a balanced offense, an offense like the Force has, is going to have to be, to beat the Chicago Force team defense, you're going to have a very well-balanced offense. To beat the Chicago Force, you got to have a well-balanced offense, meaning you got to be able to run and pass, I believe, against the Force defense. And I think if the Force is going to get beat, you need an offense that can do both.
All right, the Dixie Blues call timeout. 3:28 left on the clock. 3rd down and 9. Pam Shaffrett, John Cohn bringing you the final minutes of the semifinal National Conference football game here in the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance. Again, 63 teams in the league. People I talked to, Pam, are surprised that there's that many teams. The league needs to get more publicity, but that's pretty impressive, really spanning the entire country. The divisions are divided up regionally.
Yep.
There's not a lot of travel in the league right now for financial reasons, but 63 teams, 17 different divisions, an impressive growth for the WFA.
Very impressive. Women's football, when you look at the history of women's football, it's been around approximately 12 to 15 years, starting out very small. But most people are very surprised when they hear 62 teams.
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot of women playing football. And I think if you can get there's that open pass by Blues that have been open all day, and it's either been underthrown and overthrown. That's the pass that's another weakness right there, is to get that quick tight end pass behind the Force defense. And that's something that the Force needs to work on, but they haven't been able to execute that pass all game.
You're right, though. There has been open receivers, so a concern maybe down the road for the Chicago Force.
But like we were saying earlier, a minute ago, 62 teams, most people don't know about 62 teams across the country. Are very surprised about how many women are playing football. And I think it's just like we've said all along, if more people come out to see the product we put on the field, I think there's going to be more support each year, because it really is a good product.
All right, 4th down situation. Looks like they're not going to go for it, and the very busy Lauren Church back to punt. Gets a good one this time. Nice hang time. Dantura thought about fielding it.
That looked like it
It's
hit
recovered.
a Force player.
Yeah, that's always, I think, even at the highest level, you could see some of the Dixie Blue players. You're right.
Yeah, that hit a Force player. Looked like it hit Sammy Skirto.
Yeah, good call, Pam. Well, you got to have some communication there when you decide not to field the ball. There's got to be some signal.
You got to get out of the way.
And everybody has. You can't just walk out of the way. You have to sprint out of the way.
You do, because
that football bounces in a lot of weird ways.
You don't know where the football's going, but it's really exciting time for women's football, John. And I want to talk a little bit more about the championship game at Heinz Field.
Yep.
I'm comparing it to, the NFL football, because I believe that it could be just as good as the NFL. And I do know, just like the NFL championship, they're making it a whole weekend experience. So they're also having the All-Star game. So all the All-Star games, the American All-Stars play against the National All-Stars on that Sunday, which would be August 5th. So not only is the championship game on the 4th, but you got the All-Star game on the 5th. You've also have, after the championship game, they're going to air the Hall of Fame football induction ceremony. So they're making it a real cool experience. They're going to have food. They're going to have tents. They're going to have, it's just going to be a real good experience. And I think it's going to, bring women's football, up a notch with this championship experience this year.
You saw the intended pass for number 99, Alicia Houghton, but let's hope, Pam, that, whatever teams are in the championship, hopefully a lot of the other teams and players will come there to watch the game and to support, and you get a great crowd to turn out for that game. And again, it's going to be at Heinz Field, home of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as Pam mentioned earlier, first time ever women's football played in a National Football League stadium.
Very exciting time for women's football. God, I would love to play in an NFL field. Unbelievable. And not only that, ESPN3 is covering it, which is a very huge opportunity for women's football, too.
It'll be a great weekend for football, no question about it. Not a great day.
Wow.
Not a great night, not a great weekend for Michelle Robinson as Ashley Berggren drags her down for a big loss.
I don't know what Ashley Berggren had in her coffee this morning, but I got to tell you, there is definitely a different level of play among Ashley Berggren tonight, and the speed of how she's playing tonight. And it is from here, there's a huge difference in the speed she's playing at compared to everyone else on this field. This is the 4th quarter with 2 minutes left. She just made that play like it was the first play of the game. Amazing speed, amazing athletic ability, Ashley Berggren on that play.
3rd down and long for the Dixie Blues, and you could just see the body language of Ashley Bergen, the way she's walking around now.
Confident.
She
Absolutely.
believes she's a football player.
I'm telling you, that light bulb went off that I talked about earlier, and that's some of the best defensive coverage I've seen in a long time right there. If she continues to play like that, we're going to Heinz Field, John.
Nice execution that time. Good give, but it's covered quickly. Covered quickly by Alicia Okri and
Great
friends.
tackle. Great tackle.
Might have an injured player down in the field. Looks like Keisha Brooks may be slow to get up.
You know, we
She's
haven't
got the football in her hands, too.
You know, we just like Dawn Peterson earlier, Keisha Brooks, we don't talk enough about. Talk about emotional leader. She's a little bit like Sammy, but on the offensive line. Keisha Brooks is one of those leaders that, I mean, she's just very emotional, very passionate about the game of football, very dedicated, loves her teammates, and she's a veteran, been around, I believe, I want to say 7 years. So she's just one of those, we don't talk enough about her. Offensive line, that's one of the best in the league, part of it.
Coach Lewandowski talking to the defensive unit. 2-minute warning here. 2-minute warning as we wind down to the final minutes. Don Braddock, the Jacksonville season, going to come to an end here. A very good season. I'm sure they'll regroup, pick up some players, but an impressive season. At times an impressive effort tonight, but just overmatched a little bit by the Chicago Force. But Coach Braddock, haven't had the pleasure of talking to him, but just the way he carries himself in the field, the way the players react to him, looks like a quality head coach.
Quality head coach, quality team. And I think the Dixie Blues heard a lot about the Force coming into this game. And you never know until you get in between the white lines, you know, what kind of team. You know, everything's always talked about. You look at film, but you never know till you get on the field. And both very good teams tonight, but I think it goes to show you how good the Force really is, because the Jacksonville Dixie Blues is a very good team.
And 61 points on the board, Pam, and I hesitate to say the Force have not shown all their weapons offensively.
They haven't.
They went into a little bit of a conservative mode here in the second half and still got 61 points on the board. Great tackle right there.
I think that's Trish Harper. I mean, she normally doesn't even play defense, and here you got Coach Lewandowski getting his offensive players in, or, you know, on defense too, getting some reps. I mean, it looks, I don't know, it's just a lot of talent out there.
You can see a frustrated Michelle Robinson calling for the face mask. 4th down and extremely long, so the Dixie Blues not able to capitalize on the, or actually that'll be
they went for that.
That'll be first down. Yeah, I apologize. That was 4th down right there. So it's first down as Sammy Grisafi brings the ball club back on, but the Dixie Blues not able to capitalize on that special teams turnover.
Yeah, Dixie Blues had some tough penalties and a few turnovers here in the late in the second half to diminish their momentum that they had gained in the beginning of the third quarter. But like I said, I think it was a lot of the Force coaches adjusting upon the Dixie Blues adjustments, and that's a sign of a very good team.
Minute 54 left. Force with the football, maybe their final offensive possession, and based on the way they're lined up, it's going to be run, and Grisafi's going to let that clock wind down. Straight up the middle.
Wow!
Tyria Ziegler.
Nice tackle.
Good tackle from behind. I was about to say touchdown number 5, but a nice job. Nice job chasing her from behind. Number 19, that's Jamie Maroon.
Yep.
Aaron's sister, and Ziegler almost had touchdown number 5.
That's a very good tackle by number 19 to prevent that touchdown, but that almost was touchdown number 5 for Ziegler, and wow, she's just come out of the woodworks. I mean, and she's still got a little speed in her step, and it's 1:37 left in the game here.
It looks like Jacksonville is going to call timeout here and see if they can get the defense regrouped a little bit dejected right now, the young ladies in the white and blue. Chicago Force probably happy with running the clock out right now, but
yeah.
Tyria Ziegler certainly wanted touchdown number 5 on the board there.
I mean, you look at the scoreboard in a playoff game, and you're the Dixie Blues, you look at 61-14, you're not going to be very happy. You're going to be very frustrated with the score of this game right now.
So Coach John Konecki going to be bringing his troops in a couple of weeks. right back to Evanston High School to take on the Boston Militia. Sammy Grisafi at quarterback, and there's that very familiar I formation with Ziegler and Chules. This time it's Chules into the end zone. She goes. Touchdown for the Chicago Force. That'll make it 67-14 as Mary Chules, with 20-plus carries on the evening, picks up the touchdown.
That's 8 rushing touchdowns on the night. 8 rushing touchdowns on the night for the Force. And you got to remember, we are missing some key offensive players tonight. We're not using Melissa Smith as much as we used to. We're missing Jeanette Gray and Brandy Hatcher, who are 2 key offensive players for us the whole year. So
they fake it. I think that was intended. Brought down. Beautiful tackle by Kim Brown. I'm not sure if that was intended to be a fake or if it was just off. It looked like it was intended.
I think it was intended, and knowing Coach Konecki, he might want to put in like a little play there that they could practice for the future.
Dana Vermillion, number 84, was the young lady who got the football, but that play did not work.
You know, it's hard not to be excited in a few weeks about this game coming up.
That's going to be a ball game, folks. And in fact, there are some people that say maybe the winner of that game is going to be the favorite to win it all.
Absolutely. And a lot of people that talk about this league, you know, sometimes, unfortunately, you know, this is all, you know, everyone's own opinion, but a lot of people say, you know, Boston and Chicago should meet in the championship, but just the way any division's line, and you could say that about any NFL or anything, but I get excited thinking about this game. You got 2 teams that are very good, and it's not only that, it's a rematch. It's a rematch of last year, coming in, trying to make it to the championship. Boston came to Chicago last year, beat us on our home field, this field, pretty convincingly. We were undefeated. It's going to be the same story coming in 2 weeks. So I think this is what Chicago Force has wanted since January 7th when we started practice, and this is exactly what they're going to get.
Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics have developed somewhat of a rivalry. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Boston Bruins, both teams of the original 6 longtime competitors, Chicago White Sox, Boston Red Sox. Now you got a little rivalry in women's football going between the Militia and the Force.
And we've had several rivalries over the year. I remember when I was playing, Detroit was our rival. And I know Kansas City's been a huge rival for us, and we played Kansas City the first game this year of our season. We beat them 21-14. By the way, Kansas City's playing tonight to get back to the championship, or get to the championship too. So we've had several rivalries, Kansas City, Detroit. Now we have Boston Militia. So it's fun. It's what it's all about. And if you're any kind of, you know, any athlete wants to play the best. And Boston Militia has won 2 back-to-back national championships, one for the IWFL, one for the WFA. You want to play the best, and you want to beat the best. So this is what you want as a football player. This is what you play for. So it's going to be a very exciting game on July 21st.
Defending champions will be coming to town. The Boston Militia, the Chicago Force will be hosting that game. And they beat the San Diego Surge to win the WFA championship last year. They've knocked off the Force in the semifinal game. So that's going to be a good one. We got 1:20 left in this particular game with the Chicago Force comfortably in front. 67-14, and the Dixie Blues with the football.
Let's see what they can do here in the last 1:20. But you got a Chicago Force team playing at a very high level right now. And what I like about when I look at the whole season of the Chicago Force, usually in a season there's a lot of valleys and peaks and valleys and peaks, but Chicago Force has gradually just gotten better and better and better. And they're coming into this game in 2 weeks with a lot of momentum and a very well-oiled machine. And they're going to be tough to beat, but like you said, one game at a time. A lot of hard hitting still. One game at a time, one play at a time, and Chicago Force has got to stay on this even keel that they've been on all year.
Yeah, they're certainly playing their best football at the right time of the year, which is, as a coach, what you want them to do. Candace Griffin, number 24, with another hard hit, clock winding down, and you can see the Jacksonville team not in a particular hurry at this point. The result inevitable, so the Dixie Blues going to run a couple of more plays, and the Chicago Force going to walk off the football field as the semifinal champions here and head to the National Conference Championship game. Good look at Sam Skirto from Glenview, Illinois, my hometown. Thank you very much.
You said that last week a few times too, didn't you?
More than a couple times.
You had to get that in there.
You got to
today,
plug it in, you know. Erin Maroon, she played a heck of a game. Switches hands with the football, nowhere to go. Martha Dantura bringing her down. That might be the final play of the ball game.
Dantuma does such a good job on contain because you got a defensive back. Dantuma is listed as 5'11". I believe she's taller than that, but she's got those long arms. And when you have contain, you want long arms to grab that running back, and she does a really good job of covering with her arms and her legs and her size on that containment.
The clock has wound down. The celebration can officially begin. The Chicago Force coming off the field, hands raised up in the air. They are victorious. John Konecki, Stacy Baker, the outstanding offensive line coach, and company with a big win. 67-14, your final score. And you see the Force players celebrating. The handshake's going to take place. We will take a quick break here and back for a final wrap-up as the Force knock off Jacksonville 67-14. Back in a minute for a final wrap-up. Welcome back for the wrap-up here as the Chicago Force celebrating a victory over the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. Again, final score 67-14. You're looking at George Howell down on the sidelines, and I think they're giving out the offensive player of the game, Pam. And no secret here.
No secret here. It looks like Ziegler, 4 touchdowns, over 100 yards.
George sounds like he's one of those boxing. Are you ready to rumble? Yeah, Arterio Ziegler, what a game she had, number 73.
She sure did.
Let's see our defensive player of the game.
Co-MVPs. There we go.
And they're giving it to Candace Griffin and Ashley Bergren, who were outstanding throughout the game. There's Ashley, number 80. Candace Bergren, number 24. And George Howell firing up the troops right there.
Against the defending national champion, Boston Militia. Tell everyone you know to be out here. We need all the support. Fill the stands. Drive safely. Good night.
And here it is,
Very
George.
happy tonight, John.
George,
This is going to be a great game in 2 weeks. I can't wait. Very happy Force team you're seeing right now.
Yeah, well, hopefully there'll be a big crowd out there next Saturday, or a couple of weeks, I should say, a bye next week. But smiles across the board, well-deserved. Pam, you talk about how hard they work, not only during the season, but in the off-season. And John Konecki is congratulating them right now, and I'm sure firing them up a little bit, getting them ready for a couple of weeks. But all that work you put into, that's what it goes towards. And now they get their just reward, a chance to go to the national championship game.
This is what you play for as a football player. This is what you dream of. Last year we got beat by Boston Militia. Next week, 2 weeks, they come back. It's a rematch. This is what you play for all year. I remember last week before the game that we did, John, before the crash game. Before the game, I heard words come out of Coach Konecki's voice. You know what they were? He said, January 7th. You know what that means? Since January 7th, this has been their goal, to make it to Heinz Field, and we're on our way, and I couldn't be more excited.
2 steps away. Well, really 1 step away from getting there, 2 steps away from getting the ultimate championship. We talk about how close the Force got back in 2008, where they were literally a play away from winning the championship. But this ball club looks like they're playing their best football, and we'll see in a couple of weeks. We know the Boston Militia team, very well coached, excellent team, good execution. They got the depth like the Force have, so it's going to be a great matchup. And like George said down on the field, hopefully we'll get a great crowd to come out and watch those 2 talented teams.
It's going to be one of the best games of the year. You got 2 good football teams, 2 great coached football teams, and like you said, back in 2008, we made it to the championship, lost in overtime, almost won the championship. We didn't get there. Since then, the goal's been to get back to the championship. But guess what? We didn't finish it in 2008. We need to finish it this year. And I've said all along, no one deserves a championship more than we do. I know that's been our goal from day one, and it's a very exciting time for Chicago Force football. I'm very happy right now. You're very happy right now. Chicago Force football team's very happy right now. 2 weeks, Boston Militia. We got to beat them to get back to the championship.
Pam's fired up. We got a pep talk. We got a speech coming from Pam to the team.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I know you're going to go down right now and congratulate some of the players. But excellent game. We should mention Jacksonville. Phenomenal season for them. They were undefeated coming into the game. Just overmatched a little bit tonight. But congratulations to the Dixie Blues for having a great regular season.
Very good football program. Great coaches. They've got a great history behind them. Came into tonight's game knowing a lot about the Force, knew they had a big job ahead of them, couldn't get it done. The Force is hitting on all cylinders right now. They are working on all cylinders. They're playing very well. I think coaches are very happy. We're in the right place where we want to be right now for the game against Boston.
All right, there it is. We got to wrap it up. Final score again, 67-14. Force go on to the championship. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. For Pam Schaffrath and John Cohn, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And again, thanks for watching.
Thanks, John.